What is up, everybody? What a crazy ass day. Holy shot. Like, man, I just got home from work. I want you guys to know that when I hop on this channel, it's literally right after I get home from work. What a crazy day. All right. I had a show set up pretty well for today. Most of these shows are generally like set up in my head, not actually like made in any type of format, but I generally know what I'm going to talk about and I know how I'm going to talk about it. And then this crazy stuff happened. As I'm sure every one of you are aware, Charlie Kirk has now been assassinated, I guess is what you call it. I don't even know. Crazy stuff. I've seen a lot of videos. Seeing one video that I really wish I didn't see. But yeah, crazy stuff. And I'm going to say some things about this. And, you know, these things are always a little bit more difficult for me to talk about because I make a lot of jokes. And I make a lot of jokes during times when it's probably not time to make jokes. I think that, you know, overall, we live in a political climate currently that is teetering into a very bad place. Now, that climate was created by certain people that either financially benefited from it or through connections and status as well. And even though somebody like Charlie Kirk would decry empathy, even though somebody like Charlie Kirk, when those politicians in Minnesota were murdered in front of their daughter, did not show empathy, even though when Paul Pelosi was attacked, Charlie Kirk chose not to show empathy. In fact, chose to spread disinformation and to blame the Jews and blame many other people. I do feel empathy for Charlie Kirk's children. And that is because no child deserves to hear that. And I think that, like, oftentimes I am I'm at odds with people when it comes to children, because I think that children should not have to bear these types of trauma, and that is unfortunate. But I will say this: if you create a society, a movement based off anger, hate, and fear, eventually you reap what you sow. And I've told you guys so many times on this channel not to let this shit get to you, not to let them take your joy, to go out, touch grass, go watch some football, enjoy life. Like, don't look back on the time that you could have had and wish you would have done something more productive. And unfortunately, certain people in our society, and I do believe Charlie Kirk was one of these people, have instead advised people to be hateful, to be angry, to be fearful. And that's created a incredibly poor environment for certain people in our society. And when people do that, and don't suspect that there will be repercussions for those actions, you're playing with fire, man. So I grew up in a place where when you did something, there's repercussions. When you said something, there's repercussions. And I think that this age that we live in now has created an ability for people to financially benefit from creating anger, fear, and hate in people. And this is the inevitable outcome of doing those things. So I think at the end of the day, you can say two things about this. One, gun violence is bad. Gun violence is bad. Two, if you encourage people to be violent and you encourage people to be hateful and fearful and angry, then you are inviting that violence. So that's about all I'm going to say about that. Because I'm going to do what Kirk and many people on the right do when something like this happens to people on the left. And I am going to choose to focus on other things. Because what happened was bad. But at the end of the day, there's other things going on in society that are much worse than even what happened to Charlie Kirk today. And we're going to talk about the school shooting, something that I don't cover a lot on this channel. But because of what's going on right now, I want to juxtapose these two things. I think it's important for people to see this. Oh, thank you for the 10 memberships. Bucket. I guess I should say, I should just say hi to everybody, right? I came on here. I came on hot. I came on and did my thing. But I wanted to say that before we get into this, because I want to make sure that my viewpoint on this situation is clear. And I hope that I have made my position clear. What's happening, 5 Alarm? What's going on, Eric? What's going on, Benny Loco? What is going on, Benny? What's going on, Mountain Bike? Mikey Decrepit, what's up, Mikey? You even got you're on your own account, dude. You're on your own account. I love it. Alan, what's going on? Bucket, of course. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for those memberships. JFO, thank you. Golf, what's up? Woke Mike, what's up? Corwin over there on the Twitch. I don't trust anyone with all their books on display, but you totally redeem yourself with Idiocracy on the left. I like my books. My books are like my children. I love my books. I do make fun of people for having books in their background, though, so there's always that. Let's see. Really ties the room together. Blood by Stone, what's happening? Roxanne, what's up? Try plugging it in. What's up? Let's see who else is in here. I did ramble for a bit there. Mountain Bike, did I say hi? I think I said hi. Assassination refers to the murder of a prominent individual, such as political leader, public figure, or celebrity. The distinguishing factors for an assassination are typically the victim's high profile and the underlying motive behind the killing. I guess that would be right then. I guess I won. Let's see. Who else? Who else is here? I think I got everybody. Moms Russo, what's happening, Moms? What's going on? Let's see. Anybody else? I think I got everybody. Grey Pill. What's up, Grey Pill? Right Plate. What's going on, Right Plate? Haven't seen you in a minute, Right Plate. Sean. What's going on, Sean? Caleb, what's going on? Yeah, unfortunately, when you have quotes like, I think empathy is made up of a new age term that has done a lot of damage, unfortunately, it's hard for people to feel empathy for you. Yeah, it's true. What's happening, Perry? What's going on, Perry? Reverend, what's going on, Reverend? I see all you guys today. What is going on? I can't read some of your shit. I can't read. Manic, what's going on? Thank you, Right Play. It is growing. It is growing longer by the day. Diane, what's going on? Diane, look at all of you guys. Talia, what's going on? Vonda, Kevin, Chris, what is up, guys? I'm glad to see all you guys. Michelle, what's happening? What's up? It's good to see all you guys. All right. So like I said what I said. You guys heard my position on that, and now we're going to do what people on the right constantly do when these types of things happen. We're going to move on, and we're going to talk about shit to us that matters. And I wanted to talk about the juxtaposition of a celebrity losing their life and how we treat the loss of children's lives in this country. I want to talk about the fact that Charlie Kirk has passed away, and it dominates the headlines. I want to talk about the fact that Charlie Kirk has passed away, and the President of the United States has tweeted 3, 4, 5, 6 times. I've seen tweets from Newsom. I've seen tweets from every Republican. I've seen, tweets from celebrities. And yet, right here in this country on the very same day, at least 3 students, including a suspected shooter, are being treated at a Denver area hospital following a shooting at Evergreen High School in Jefferson County foothills. And I just want to say this, and I'm going to try and do this in the most respectful manner that I possibly can. I find our country's lack of empathy for children fucking disturbing. I find watching that a person, a celebrity, loses their life, which is tragic, can dominate headlines on the same day that 3 children are critically wounded and in the hospital and may lose their lives. And the problem with that is we became desensitized to children and gun violence. The problem with that is that this is an everyday occurrence in this country. The problem with that is people like Charlie Kirk have said, if a couple people die every year, but we get to keep our gun rights, that's an acceptable amount. There's a disease in this country. And that disease is not necessarily always just staying on one side. It is a disease of iconicism. It's a disease of celebrity and worship. So many people in this country put so much into people that choose to manipulate the way they think, to use their fear, their anger, their hatred to financially benefit from these things. Meanwhile, there are children that haven't had the chance to grow to be the type of person to show even who they are, to show whether they're good people or bad people. They'll never have that chance because their lives got taken away from them. We have to remember that when we respond in the way we do to something like a Charlie Kirk losing his life versus the way that we respond to children losing their life is because this country is sick and it needs help. And the discourse in this country has centered around people of popularity, people of means, while everyday people continue to be held at a loss, to be put in a place where you can't send your kids to school and be without being concerned about whether or not their safety is put in jeopardy. Hundreds of law enforcement officers responded to the school at 29,300 Buffalo Park Road after a 911 caller reported an active shooting at 12:24 p.m. Jefferson County Sheriff's Office spokesperson Jackie Kelly said at a briefing Wednesday. The suspected shooter, a juvenile male student at the school, was among the 3 with gunshot wounds. Kelly did not say whether he shot himself, but she said no law enforcement officers fired their weapons. No additional information about the suspect was available. This is the scariest thing that could have happened, and these parents were really frightened, and so were the kids, Kelly said. And I know we say never again, and here we are. Gun violence in this country is a problem. It doesn't matter whether or not you agree on the reasoning behind why these things are happening. They are happening. And I think that actually most of us do agree on why these things are happening. And that is mental illness. But the thing about that is when people attempt to put forth legislation to deal with things like red flag laws, people consistently on the right that are influencers, that are politicians, choose to do nothing about that. They choose not to fund mental health. They choose not to put people in schools that can help with it. They choose to take away things because they claim that the adversity that these children are facing is good for them, rather than understanding that these children need help. And these children eventually grow up into adults that take the life of the people that you worship, the icons, the influencers. People don't just one day wake up and decide to do something like this. This is the type of thing that comes from a lifetime of experiences of trauma, of poor mental health. Look, there's a lot of motherfuckers in this world that I hate. But it would take something drastic happening to make me do what that person did today. And I want to go over here. We're going to talk about the Charlie Kirk thing. So, the Charlie Kirk shooter suspect is in custody, which I don't even trust this shit anymore. I don't trust anything to do with this administration. Whether or not this person's actually the person or not. Donald Trump tweeted that Charlie Kirk had passed away, and somebody said, "Oh, is that true? Did he pass away?" And I said, "You don't know, because our president lies so fucking much that I literally don't know whether or not dude died or not." That's a fucking problem. That's a part of this disease. That's an issue with this country. When your leadership is so fucking unstable, so dishonest, that you can't even trust that when they say somebody has died, that they have died, that you have to wait for other people to report on it so that way you can confirm that it's correct, that's a fucking problem. A suspect in the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk has been arrested, the FBI director says. The governor of Utah is calling the individual a person of interest. So therefore, it's a suspect. We do not know that this person is even the person that actually committed this crime. Just before a press conference with law enforcement officials in Utah, Spencer Cox began, Director Kash Patel announced on social media that someone had been picked up in relation to the tragedy. And listen to the way that he phrases this. The subject for the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Thank you to local police and state authorities in Utah for your partnership with the FBI. We will provide... So even in the way that he's saying this, he's saying that this is a person that has been taken into custody that did a crime. They don't know that. In fact, they arrested somebody else before this and said that that person was the person who did it, yet it was not. We have a person of interest in custody that is being interviewed right now, the governor said. Political assassination, as Cox termed Kirk's killing, took place today. There is no information that would lead us to believe that there's a second person involved. JFK would like to see you on that comment. Cox said is surrounded by local police and FBI agents. Before the governors and others went in front of the microphones, Donald Trump took to social media to emphasize that flags will fly at half-mast in honor of Turning Point USA co-founder's death. I'd like to point out once again, we do not fly the flags at half-mast for children that die in mass shootings. We don't do that. We do it when a celebrity dies. We do it when a politician dies. We do it when somebody that has some entertainment value to you dies. Not children. I really can't say this enough. This infatuation with celebrity, this infatuation with iconicism in this country is fucking out of this world, and it boggles my mind. People taking the life of somebody else that they disagree with is wrong, and should be, it should be said that it is so. But if children dying is of less importance to you than a celebrity or a politician dying, I won't be able to get on the same page as you. If somebody that I support passed away today, and there were children that had passed away, I would be more concerned about those children. During today's press conference on Kirk's death and the state of the investigation, Utah Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bo Mason sought to clarify that a man taken into custody soon after shooting was not the suspect in question. However, that individual, I'm not going to say this dude's name because we fucked this up so many times, is facing other charges. He has been booked in the county jail by Utah Valley University Police Department for obstruction of justice, which is fucking weird. I don't even know what that's about. Let's go back to this. Thank you for the $10. Thank you for the $10. I appreciate it. As a former sniper myself, that shot taken at that distance was someone who was trained. I was going to ask that 5-alarm. That seemed like a hell of a shot. And I don't know anything about sniping. A guy incited hate for a living. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what to say to people. If you incite hate, you are going to one day reap what you sow. I've said so many times on this fucking stream, man. Like, don't let them take your joy. Don't fall into what these people want you to. These people want you apathetic and hateful. It's their whole brand. It's what they want from you is for you to be the person that they can claim is the person causing all this, right? They want to be the victim. And just like any abuser in any situation, they're going to push your buttons. They're going to fuck with you. They're going to do all this shit that they claim that you do. And then when you act out, they're going to play the victim. Meanwhile, children in schools continue to almost on a fucking daily basis, at the least on a monthly basis, get shot in schools, man. I think that the left should say Charlie Kirk being shot is wrong. Because I do think that the left should say that gun violence against people in this country is wrong. But I am going to steady call out the fact that Charlie Kirk was a man who said that a couple people dying every year ain't that big of a deal, so that way we can keep our guns. Those couple people that are dying every year are children. If we want to address this shit, then we got to be realistic. We got to be honest. We got to say to ourselves, what is causing this? And what is causing this in this country is that there are a group of very manipulative individuals, both in celebrity and in politics, that are choosing to drive fear, anger, and hatred in people over and over and over again. This is the brand. This is the logo. This is the slogan. If you can find empathy for Charlie Kirk and his family, but you can't find 2 seconds to say to yourself, children dying in schools is bad, then you don't have empathy for Charlie Kirk. Then you only care that somebody that said the words you wish you could say died. That's it. That's it. So back to the kids. Back to the kids here. Okay, it's not clear where the shooting started, but investigators have found areas inside and outside the school where shots were fired, Kelly said. She said the suspect used a handgun in the shooting, but she could not be more specific about the type of weapon, which doesn't matter. This is something I disagree with people on the left. Once again, it doesn't matter. I don't need to hear the word AR. All I need to know is that a child lost its life to another child because of gun violence, and I know, or any violence, a knife violence, fucking whatever. That is bad. Jefferson County Sheriff Reggie Marinelli said deputies were on scene in 2 minutes. That's good. Better than Uvalde. There were no school resource officers on the campus at the time of the shooting. Dr. Brian Blackwood, the trauma program medical director at Common Spirit St. Anthony Hospital in Lakewood, said 2 of the students were in critical condition Wednesday evening, and the third had injuries that were not life-threatening. He did not specify the condition of the suspect. And here's something that needs to be said. When I say I feel empathy for Charlie Kirk's kids, people should also understand what it's like to be the parent of these children. Like, what does it feel like to know that your child may not come home tonight? Like, it's insane to me that people can brush this type of shit off so easily, yet a celebrity passes away and everybody wants to fucking, like, shut everything down. It's fucking mind-boggling to me. Hospital officials had earlier said all 3 were in critical condition. At least one was in surgery late Wednesday afternoon, another hospital spokesperson, Lindsay Foster, said. Ethan Ramirez, 16, told the Denver Post he was eating lunch in Evergreen's High's cafeteria when an announcement on the intercom caught his attention, although he couldn't quite hear the message. Around him, other students started to walk out of the cafeteria. Then he heard a loud bang, he said, and he started to run. I heard gunshots right behind me, he said. He sprinted out of the school. As he ran along a dirt path, he looked over at the school, he said, and saw a person he thought was the shooter. He was walking. He wasn't running. I saw him shooting right at us. He and other students ran into a neighborhood where they hid inside a stranger's home in a bathroom. The neighbor pulled out 2 guns to protect them, Ethan said. After a couple of hours, police officers collected them. He said, I'm a little shaken up. I'm pretty scared. He's not sure he will feel safe back at school. I'm paranoid now that something is going to happen. Students were collected by their parents, left the reunification site at Bergen Meadow Elementary, 1928 Juan Drive, in a trickle, some arm in arm, some sobbing. Some talked about what they saw and what they did. Parents told children, you're okay. Those children aren't okay. They're not okay. Emily Hederson, a 17-year-old senior, went home for lunch about 30 minutes before the attack, she said. She hugged friends in tears. Is it just a normal fucking day and now it's gone, she said. I was so close to not going home for lunch, and if I didn't, I could have died. She said the students haven't had a lockdown drill yet this year. One scheduled was canceled for a medical emergency. Her mom, Ivy, said her daughter came to the site because she was worried about her friends. You feel so helpless, she said. There's nothing we can do. Like, I don't... You would think... let's see. 5 alarm. Thank you for the $10. Chat to reiterate, be careful when you post on live streams. They are monitored far more closely than you know. Yeah, I'd be very careful about what you guys say. You would think this would be a time. If people were sane, you would think this would be a time where people could get together and say, hey, man, you lost somebody that you cared about today. And we lost children that we care about. And I think people will make this argument. I think it's a fucking insane argument, but I can already hear people making this argument. I haven't been reading chat because I don't really want to read chat right now. If a person said, if I said these children have passed away, why do you care more about Charlie Kirk passing away than about these kids passing away? Some people would say there were so many people that loved Charlie Kirk. And I would say the people that love these children love those children more than you could ever love Charlie Kirk. If you don't have children, if you don't understand what it's like to have that fear of worrying about your children, you do not know what I'm talking about. But I will say this, and I will say it over and over again. As a person that is a parent, there is a problem in this country, and that problem is mental illness. Because you don't shoot somebody without having something wrong. You don't shoot children 100% if you don't have something wrong. But if we're going to agree that there is a issue with that in our country, then we also need to agree that something needs to be done about it. And when certain politicians have multiple times now put forth legislation to do with mental illness, people like Charlie Kirk, people like Donald Trump have used their podium to say to other people, we don't want that. We don't want to spend money on that. We don't want our taxes going to that. You would think that in a situation like this, you could point across to an example and say, today you lost somebody that you appreciated, that you liked, that I disagreed with. don't you think we should talk about why it happened? Don't you think we should talk about how we can make sure that shit like this doesn't ever happen again? But the reality is that people have been caught up in this narrative that to address any of these things is to admit that you have anything in common with a person from the other side. But today, of all days, in a very weird way, there's something to be said about having something in common. You lost somebody that was important to you, and all children are important to me. Let's watch that. We'll watch it because I haven't spoke a lot on what exactly has been said about this. I have not seen a lot about this because I was at work. So let's watch. We'll watch the news. You guys just sit here with me, old man style. Old man watching the news, guys. Old man watching the news. So let's watch this video. This is I don't know what channel this is. It's probably not Fox News. I don't want to pick. It's ABC. Fuck Fox News. We'll watch Fox News shit in a minute.
News at 5 o'clock. Conservative political activist Charlie Kirk has died after being shot, and the shooter is still not in custody. We know Kirk was speaking at an outdoor event.
Like I said, I do believe now actually the shooter has been, they believe has been apprehended. But once again, you never know any of this shit's true. Like I said, when your entire platform, your entire party, your entire idea is that we can lie about shit and you just have to accept that as that being our reality, you create this atmosphere where nothing is believable. This is why I've spoken out against Trump's dishonesty. This is why I've spoken out saying that when you try to appeal to conspiracy theory because it's an easy way to get votes, that you're going to end up in these situations. Even now, we don't know that the person that has been apprehended is the person who shot Charlie Kirk.
Utah Valley University, where he was invited by a student group.
And video shows
violence. Great.
Yeah, video shows the moment.
And one of the crazy things about this I do know, is that he was literally talking about gun violence before this shit happened. And here's the thing. The person talking to him was talking to him about transgender people, a group of people that have taken so much shit from other people around them because of the things that Charlie Kirk has said. Like I said, you got to be honest with this shit, man. You can't just say, well, this person died, so we're not going to talk about this. What led up to this happening? Part of that is that this person chose to incite hate against a group of human beings. You don't need to do that. You can just let transgender people live, man. And, it's part of this internet culture, too. I think it started with Ben Shapiro's ass. It started with the Ben Shapiro owns or Ben Shapiro destroys whatever college student, right? We've monetized these people going out in public and demoralizing other human beings. And I said this to you guys the other night when I said the left needs to stop eating its own. And, you guys influence people by what you click and what you view, right? That not only is the audience captured, but now the creators are captured as well, right? Because the more that people are into stuff, the more that people want to make that content, right? And I've said I've always been in a weird place because this isn't how I make money. I don't make shit off this, right? I could get a job at McDonald's right now as my second job and I'd make a fuck ton more money, okay? Just so you guys know, I'm not doing well. It's all $10 fucking super chats from fucking Redonk. Dude, don't fucking start with that shit. Half the shootings lately have been trans, so the question is relevant. That's fucking retarded. Jesus Christ, that's retarded. 97, 98% of all fucking shootings are young white men. Yet you don't hear me up here. Nah, I'm not going to read chat. I can't do this right now. I'm going to fucking yell at you guys. That's stupid. It's just fucking dumb. It's like, how captured are we? How captured are we? All it takes is somebody asking something and we're like, yeah, actually, that's a good point. Holy fuck, dude. No, it's not. Fucking so what do we do? Should we start fucking dragging young white men out because 98% of them are the ones that do it? What should we do to all the young white men, Redonk? What should we do to them? Redonk, answer the fucking question. What should we do to the young white men since they make up 98%? What should we do to young white men, Redonk? Answer that shit. That's fucking retarded. People gotta understand, like, this, all of this shit is mental health. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the gender of a shooter is. It doesn't matter what the ethnicity of a shooter is. It's like, you get so caught up in wanting to fucking find something that agrees with your narrative. No, it's not worth asking. It's just fucking clickbait, dog. It's clickbait. It's everything in this fucking country right now is just find a way to get people worked up enough to watch your shit so that way you can make money off of it, so you don't have to go work in retail, so you don't have to go work in fucking, a mechanic shop. And what it ends up doing is it ends up creating hate against individuals that ends up becoming audience capture, which ends up becoming content creator capture, which creates narratives that are 100% false. 100% false. It's fucking insane. It's insane. Back to what I was saying. The very fact that he was shot while having this conversation is fucking insane. And that shot was crazy. That's a 200-yard shot. That was fucking insane. Under the fucking awning. I'm fucking conspiracy theorying this shit up. I'm like, that sounds like a fucking army sniper.
When the shot rang out, eyewitnesses described seeing blood pouring from his neck and people screaming, running for their lives.
Everyone immediately started screaming.
And there's a video showing, this isn't, where is he at? I'm guessing down, he's on the far left. There's a video showing one of the roofs where the person was actually running across, or they believe to. I hate saying anybody did what.
Security guard next to Charlie grabbed him, pulled him down. They ran back. People started fleeing.
Kirk, a polarizing political figure, and his visit had been controversial. A petition had been circulating online.
So apparently it was like the top left of that rooftop there was where they believe the shooter
for the
was
university
at.
to stop him from speaking. But this was the first stop on a 14-city American comeback tour.
President Trump posting moments ago sending his...
Bro, woke. We live in such a fucking crazy world. I was like I said, I can't do this right now because I want to make jokes. I'm trying to take this shit seriously. And I'm a fucking clown. Like I said the other day, I'm like, why am I the one who's talking about this shit? Why am I the one that's talking about this shit? Why are the voices not better? Why am I the one talking about this shit? I like to make jokes. You know how many fucking jokes I want to make? Like, dude.
His sympathies to his family and saying he admired Kirk. Kirk was described as a powerful force for the Trump administration, a so-called youth.
Okay, we can get on the see, Redonk, you trying to make jokes, and I can't do that right now, but I want to say the same thing about that boomer shit, dog.
Influencer. He was a rising star for the party and someone the president turned to for advice.
We have several reports tonight, starting with Eyewitness News reporter Dan Krauth in the newsroom with more on this search for the shooter that continues at this hour. Dan.
Mike, on today, right now, police and the FBI are on the ground searching for the gunman in Utah who is still unaccounted for. The person was just about 200 yards away at the time of the shooting. Charlie Kirk was considered an extended member of President Trump's family and continuously praised for getting young people to vote.
Fuck, Doc, I can't do it. God damn it. Do you guys know, like, this is when I make the most jokes.
In the 2024 election. It was the first stop on Charlie Kirk's fall speaking tour called the American Comeback Tour at Utah Valley University.
And I want you guys to understand, too. Like I said, I have empathy for this dude's kids, man. Like, this guy, like, I think Charlie Kirk was a shit human being. I do. I think he was a shitty human being. I think that he caused some shit to get way too high up there. But he ain't the only person that's doing it, right? Like, God damn it. Like, the last thing I'd ever want is to think that this dude's kids would ever see me making fun of him.
He was answering a question about gun violence when a gunman fired a single shot from the crowd. We stopped the video before the shot was fired.
Yeah, don't take me yelling at Rito.
He fell backwards, went to the side. The audience went to their knees.
I saw all the crowd running as fast as they could, and I was worried about people trampling each other. And I saw two college-age girls, one was having a panic attack.
Kirk founded Turning Point USA, a conservative youth organization, and has millions of followers on social media. His speaking engagements at campuses have been tense before, sparking protests and counter-protests, but nothing like this.
And this is what I'm saying, like, when you start becoming such a controversial figure and you don't recognize, like, what you're actually creating. Like, are you creating something that's positive or something like obscenely negative, right? And like I said, there's still no reason for a person to shoot and kill another person. Like, there's in no way do I advocate for that. But, you know, you have to be very careful in this current atmosphere with what people are doing. I am really, like, it's out of my mind to see, like, so many people nowadays willing to sell any narrative, including extremely negative ones, just to get famous, just to make money. Like I said, just to not have to work a retail job. Look, I know retail's hard. It's not fun, okay? It's not fun. But God damn it, man. Like, you shouldn't fucking ruin society just to get some clicks and views, man. And that's, like, literally what this started, what, in the 80s, 84 or whatever, right? God damn it, you guys. I can't. You guys make jokes and I'm up here fucking laughing. Our media, I think it was back in 84 when the fairness doctrine was gotten rid of, recognize, and this is an argument I make to people that argue with me about this shit, that we agree on a lot of stuff, we just don't agree on who the bad people are, right? Is that our media recognized at one point or another that, like, if they could just make shit crazier, they could make a lot of money off of people, right? But to act like that isn't going to have any repercussions for the future or the present is fucking insane. Like, I think that goes across the board, man. I think that every single person, whether in the media or on YouTube or on Twitter or TikTok or whatever the fuck it is, I think Twitter is the prime example of how this kind of shit gets out of control. Like, you should know that the things that you're doing are creating this extremely negative environment. And the reason that you're doing them is because you want easy money. You're using easily manipulated people to become more and more extremist. And eventually that's gonna come home to roost. And that's, you know, Trump almost learned that in his shit. That dude that's currently on trial right now was a Trump voter. Trump's learning that right fucking now with the Epstein files. Release the files, motherfucker. Okay, I had a joke about Trump being willing to do anything, including what happened today. But I'm not going to make it. I'm going to save that for a few days. I'm going to give people time to mourn, and then I'm going to make them jokes. But that's the environment that people like Charlie Kirk have created. people like Trump have created. This, like, you have to be angry, you have to be fearful, you have to be hateful. And if you're not, then you're not doing your job. And I think that it's really important for people to know that there's bad people everywhere, but there's also good people everywhere. And, though things can get bad, that if we could fucking get our shit together, if we could work with each other, work with other people that have the same issues in our society that we do, that we could do something in a positive manner, that we could actually make life better for people without having to go through this whole phase of insanity. Like, this is a money problem. It's a mental illness problem. And money and mental illness go hand in hand. It's you're being told that you need to do whatever is necessary to get as far ahead of everybody else as possible. And if that means throwing the entire country under the bus to get there, then that's acceptable. And then eventually what happens, obviously, is one of these people that you have put into this mental state eventually either turns on you, or somebody from the other side that you've put into this mental state because you've made their life hell, eventually they come for you. Like, let's just not act like this wasn't the inevitable outcome for what is going on in this environment. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't happen, but we knew at one point or another that it was going to happen. We don't, and the sad part about this is that this probably starts a downward spiral. Like, people have a chance here to say, like, if you're on the right and you say, like, oh, like, what happened to Charlie? Fuck these people and stuff like that. You need to realize and be honest with yourself that this was also created by Charlie Kirk. And that if you continue to go down this path, this only gets worse. And for people on the left, you have to recognize that at a time like this, that we teeter on this edge where this can become commonplace in our society. And really nobody wants to live in a society like that. And I don't want anybody to get me wrong. You guys know I hang out over here on the left all day long. And I do so because you guys are empathetic, good human beings. But we still have to play our part. I think that people on the right have figured out the formula to control people that don't want to be in control of their own agency, people that want it taken out of their hands, and they've put it into people's hands that are vitriolic, hateful, angry, fearful people. But you can't become like those people either. You know what I'm saying?
It was an open-air event today that was not limited to just...
Actually, I am reading the chat. What Darkcast just said. Say goodbye to the Second Amendment. This should concern a lot of people. This should concern a lot of people. Because this does indeed fit what Trump has done so far. Trump uses things like this. Trump never misses a chance to use tragedy to benefit him. And if you don't think that Trump is going to use this to benefit him, you have lost your goddamn mind. Donald Trump is going to use this to the greatest effect that he possibly can.
Students, something former NYPD Chief of Detectives Robert Boyce says was a big problem.
There's an open to outside people, and that's something you can't control.
Thank you, Manic.
Secondly, going back to the outside venue, and a controversial person speaking in any way, with any kind of petition, any outside threats, we don't know right now. You really can't have it outside. You have to have a door to control.
Congressional leaders on both sides of the aisle are condemning political violence and...
Yeah, so that's it, right? Like, you're never going to always be safe. You're never always going to be safe. Not everybody in this country can afford Secret Service protection. By the way, Donald Trump just took Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection away. For people that are on the right now that are super fucking upset about this, keep in mind that the president of the United States is taking away the security details to high-level political people on the left, this whole thing is bad. It's all bad. And let me just say this, and I'm going to say this, and there's no right-wing people that watch my shit anymore, but I'm going to say this to you. If Joe Biden were shot, you'd be making memes and you'd be laughing about it. If Kamala Harris were shot, you would be making memes and you would be laughing about it. I'm doing my best to sit up here and call this in a way that is human. I'm doing my best to be up here. Like I said, my whole thing is I make fucking jokes. I make jokes. Yet here I am. Don't forget that shit. Like, stop acting like this is some kind of like you wouldn't be fucking making a fuck ton of jokes about this. This is literally your moment. If this was Hassan, if this was Destiny, if this was Vosh, I don't even know if any of those guys are as big as Charlie Kirk. Who's as big as Charlie Kirk on the left? Who? Like, right? Like, if this was Brian Tyler Cohen or David Pakman, like, you would be making fucking memes right now, and you would be laughing about this shit. And for once, I'm actually over here on the left saying, okay, I'm going to try and be the better person. And that's fucking hard for me. Like, don't act like you wouldn't be right now.
Calling for prayers. The governor of Utah, where the event took place, saying those responsible will be held fully accountable. Violence has no place in our public life. There was a moment of silence held for Kirk on the House floor in D.C. just about 5 minutes ago. What happened here today will no doubt change the way outdoor events are held moving forward, and we'll continue to follow what happens. Reporting live in the newsroom, Dan Crowell, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Dan, thank you. You could hear the gasp on the House floor when the announcement came that he had died. Well, at only age 31.
But once again, I'm going to point this out. How many fucking times have these people gasped when children have died in school shootings? It's fucking insane to me. It shouldn't have happened. But I'm going to continue to point out that on the very same fucking day, a school shooting happened and people are acting like it fucking... Who cares? These are all people who claim that they care about children. These are all people that are very, very worried about what a woman does with her body to make sure that that child can come out healthy. Where are the gasps when children die in schools, man? All I'm asking is for people to be fucking consistent across the board. I'm doing that for you. Can you do it for me? Nah, you can't, right? Like, the right can't show remorse for them kids dying. All they can say is thoughts and prayers. That's the limit to the resource. No gasp necessary, just thoughts and prayers.
Charlie Kirk became a powerful source for the Trump administration, someone who is trusted by many in Trump's inner circle.
In fact, Charlie Kirk was somebody who pushed for J.D. Vance to be selected as the president's running mate and ultimate vice president. So how?
Yeah, same thing with like what Dean said. Like Dean Baker just said, there's no gasp over elites being fucking protected regardless of who they are. I can sit up here and say, I don't give a fuck if you think it's Clinton. Go for it. I don't give a fuck if you think it's Trump. I don't give a fuck if it's the world leaders who aren't even part of our country. I don't care. Where's the gasp for that? I got a news article to talk about that in a minute, we ever get to it. To talk about what these people on the right are saying about those victims. Where's the gas for that?
How did he rise to such prominence at such a young age?
Lindsay Tuckman picks up that part of our coverage. Lindsay?
Yeah, he really did have a great deal of influence, and it's just horrifying news. Charlie Kirk was a conservative firebrand, and while not in the government, he had become a confidant of President Trump. And despite his polarizing opinions, there was quick bipartisan prayer for Charlie Kirk today. Charlie Kirk, the well-known right-wing commentator and co-founder of Turning Point USA, a nonprofit that advocates for conservatism on high school and college campuses. The 31-year-old originally from the Chicago suburbs and became involved with politics at an early age. The father and one of the MAGA movement's most influential voices. He is known for his strong opinions on controversial topics, which he shares to his more than 5 million followers on X, as well as his podcast and YouTube channel.
And even the news doesn't, I'm fine with the fact that they're neutral on this, but you're not saying it honestly. Either people don't understand what Charlie Kirk does or what content creators are doing nowadays. Maybe the media doesn't understand that, or they're just doing him a favor and not calling it out. Just saying that people make content nowadays is just not even close to the beginning of that. This is literally rage bait. Charlie Kirk rage baits people. Many people in YouTube on the left and right rage bait people. And this is the inevitable outcome if we don't stop rage baiting. If the point, I've always said, my channel was to mock the insanity, mock the absurdity, to say you shouldn't want to be a part of this insanity. But at no point have I ever said to people, well, I might have jokingly said it, actually. Somebody's going to find a fucking clip of me saying this. This is going to be hilarious. That we should round up MAGA and deport them. I did say that at least once. I think I did say that we could put him in a dome. Watch them, Truman style. Or a zoo. I might have said zoo, too. But it's supposed to be fucking jokes. You know?
It's like legalized comedy.
It's supposed to be this shit is absurd. Can't you see how fucking dumb this is? It's not supposed to be, let's go attack, LGBT people. It's not supposed to be, you should live in fear of trans people grooming your children. And when that's your rhetoric, man, that you're creating this atmosphere. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the way I do shit is wrong too. Fuck, I'm not here to solve the world's problems. I'm just here to fucking say some shit is absurd. Can we not be this fucking dumb anymore? I said this the other day. I see y'all saying deport MAGA now. Fuck. I want to say this was, I said, I wish to fucking God, man, we could get back to arguing over whether or not a young dude should be able to make money off of streaming games 24/7. Do you guys remember those days? Do you guys remember those days? Do you remember those days? It seems like it's so long ago, man. We've gone so far. And like I said, the problem, it's not back when YouTube didn't have abs. Corwin. It's not that just audiences are captured anymore. It's also that people are captured. People like Charlie Kirk don't exist without the people that followed him. Charlie Kirk would have never been in a position where someone hated him as much as they hated him without the people that supported him in doing what he was doing. And that's why I tell you guys, when there's certain behaviors on the left that are inconsistent or unhelpful in solidarity, that you should say, let's not do that. Because there's a lot of people across the political spectrum that their mortgages are paid by this shit. Their families are fed by this shit. Their car payments are paid by this shit. The energy, their utility bills are paid by this shit. I'm lucky that where I'm at, I don't have to make money. It's nice. Because I can say whatever the fuck I want. And I don't have to worry about people clicking on my videos. If I get 50 views, dope. If I get 50,000 views, dope. I'm just here to make jokes. But something has to stop here. Because if it doesn't, it's going to get a lot worse. We need to get back to arguing about whether or not young men should be on YouTube making video game streams and not having to work a shitty job like retail. Birthday book distraction. Sicko, we're not being distracted. By the way, like I said, there's a lot. So, please get it off your screen. I can't read chat today. I can't read chat today. You guys are killing me. All right, so let's talk about the other shit that's going on. Because like I said, if you're mad about Charlie Kirk dying today, you should be equally as mad about those children being shot in that school. And I will even say on the other side of that, if you believe on the left that gun violence is a problem, then you should also be saying that in Charlie Kirk's place as well. You don't have to feel bad for the dude. You don't have to feel sad for the dude. I feel empathy for the man's children. I think that he created this situation that put him in this place, and he's literally told me before, not to me, but has said the words that empathy is a weakness. So I feel empathy for his children. I don't think any child should have to go through this shit. But many people right now are feeding into something that is inevitably going to end in these types of situations. So let's talk about that. This is an influencer who was photographed celebrating with a binder of Epstein documents is now ripping into his victims. There's no fucking reason to do this unless what you are doing is rage baiting people. There's no reason to do something like this unless you are trying to find your space grifting off of a bunch of people that are angry and hateful and vitriol filled and fearful. These people are victims. These people are victims. And this is the lows that people in this community, I'm talking about the content creation community, because whether you're on Twitter making posts or you're on YouTube or you're on TikTok, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. A right-wing influencer who was given a binder containing Epstein files by the White House earlier this year posted more than 24 Instagram stories Monday, insinuating that some survivors of the pedophile's abuse were lying. Jessica Reed Krause, a popular conservative influencer and self-described independent media, has long sympathized with Ghislaine Maxwell, former girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein, who has been convicted of sex trafficking conspiracy, among other charges. Sex trafficking conspiracy? I didn't know that's the whole fucking charge. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what okay, maybe she knows Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know who Ghislaine Maxwell knows because I definitely don't know Ghislaine Maxwell. But I can fucking tell you this. This is the type of rage-baiting shit that ends in fucking tragedy, because somewhere out there's somebody that has been fucking abused their whole fucking life that sees what this person is saying and fucking gets very fucking upset. This is the if it bleeds, it leads mentality of news media that has gotten us into the situation where we're at now. Earlier this year, Krause was part of the group of pro-Trump online personalities handed exclusive access to Phase 1, that has to be in air quotes because there was only a Phase 1, of the Epstein files by the administration, which largely contained information already public. And I'm just going to keep saying it. Release the files. Just, you're not using other people dying for me to forget about this shit. Just a heads up. Release the files. But unlike other conservative influencers who have expressed outrage over the years of abuse by Epstein and Maxwell, Krause has chosen to defend the latter. To her 1.3 million followers, Krause used her platform to mock those who survived the sexual abuse, tried to poke holes in their stories, and claim people should not be so quick to believe them. She said, "Forgive me for refusing to embrace a narrative in which college-aged women who boarded a private jet again and again for years to vacation and accept payments as escorts to a multimillionaire later convinced them they were victims of rape, Epstein was dead, and the only person left to sue was Ghislaine Maxwell." I'm going to be 100% on this. Ghislaine Maxwell is a piece of shit human being. Ghislaine Maxwell deserves to still be in the prison that she was being held in, not in fucking Club Fed, okay? There is no world that you could possibly live in where Ghislaine Maxwell was not Jeffrey Epstein's partner in these crimes and was actually the person who committed her own as well. The fact that we live in a society right now where this is how you get popular, it says something about how fucking sick this society is. You know we got fucked up? You know what we got fucked up? We had comedians that told jokes that people knew were jokes. And then we had news media people that we knew were going to report the news. And somehow that fucking changed. Now you got clowns like me up here reporting news, making jokes. And you've got news media people fucking entertaining people. This is where the wires got fucking crossed. Like, there needs to be experts on things. This is why I've told you guys before, I don't want to sit up here and talk about wars in other parts of the world because I'm not a fucking expert on Gaza. I'm not an expert on Israel. Like I've said it before, innocent people dying bad. That's the depths of my education. Governments being big swinging dicks that want to prove to everybody else how much their military is better than others. Bad. I don't need you to say certain words to me for you to be on my team. I just need you to know that innocent people dying bad. Pretty basic fucking human being. That's all I need from you. This is the shit right here that is fucking ruining society. My wife is fucking cackling right now. I am such a fucking old man. Do you know the words, "This is what's ruining our society"? Those words come out like 5 times a night for me. And I can tell you it's not the LGBT community. It's greed. Like, I've said it before, like capitalism is the best economic driver as far as governments go, but it lacks humanity. It has no humanity. And that is the fucking problem with America is we're like so fucking engaged with making money, so engaged with being more successful than the person below us, so engaged with shoving other people out of our fucking way so that way we can be number one, that we don't recognize that it's no fun to be number one when everybody else is suffering. That like capitalism has a fucking shelf life. That you can only shit on other people for so long before you're the only person left and somebody wants to fucking shoot you in the throat. Like this is the problem with our society. The right-wing influencer posted at least 30 separate Instagram stories disputing allegations against Maxwell and called out some survivors by name, baselessly accusing them of exaggerating or being paid to make allegations against Maxwell. I was raped 25 times on the island, Krause wrote, mocking one of Epstein's victims. This is a woman posting, mocking the sexual assault of other women. What world do we live in when you can monetize making a person who has been sexually assaulted the butt of your joke? That's fucking insane. Maybe stop boarding the flights that you take to Epstein's Island, Krause added. This is what I said. This is what's wrong with society. This is what I call reductivism, is the idea that these people in these situations did not have any type of complexity or complicated situation, that there's no nuance to this, that it's just as simple as, just why were you even there if you knew it was going to happen? This is like not taking into account manipulation. This is not taking into account how these modeling worlds work, how people, we saw it with Weinstein, how these, actors work. Like this idea that people aren't human beings and that not every single person is capable of standing up and having agency for themselves and saying no to something because they don't know that's what's happening to them at that time is not normal. That they think this is what fucking society has deemed necessary for them to get ahead in life. It's sick. Thank you, Philip, for the $2. Robbie Rotten wouldn't want to be number one like this. Thank you. It's the lack of complexity in our country, in our world. Like people don't. Do you know the reason that most people, and I'm not saying all people, go to religion? It's because they want a release of accountability. They want a release of agency. They want a release of responsibility for their actions. And that doesn't just work with just religion. It works also with cults, and it also works in business. There's so many people out there that either don't understand how to get agency or how to use their agency. And then there's so many people out there that don't understand like the potential they have to understand better the complexities of the problems that they're in. I always say people see the machine, they never see the cogs. Like a person sees something that's going on in the country and they say, like, why do we need to pay taxes? Like, I don't need to pay taxes. Well, what about the fucking potholes? What about the educational system? What about the fires? A great example of it is we had 600, 700 lightning strikes in Northern California after a lightning storm recently, and almost every one of those fires that were lit because of those lightning strikes were taken care of because of the efficacy of our fire departments. You don't understand the way that efficacy works because you don't understand the complexity of the cogs that work behind the machine. And that goes for everything in life. Nothing is as simple as it seems. A woman being abused is not as straightforward as saying she just had to just not do X and she would have been okay. That's not how anything in this fucking world works. Reductivism is creating a society that is ignorant and does not wish to understand. Krause accused survivors of Epstein's abuse, who held a press conference last week, of being propped up by liberal media and Democratic forces as a PR stunt. Thomas Massey is a Republican, a libertarian. Fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene is the furthest from being a Democrat I think a person can be. In fact, I think I called out that there wasn't anybody there from the Democratic Party, and I thought that there should. I think Ro Khanna actually was there. Ro Khanna was there. This is what I mean. Don't think past seeing the machine, right? Like many people, when I say something along the lines of how could anybody fucking believe this, you have to understand that the people behind the scenes that are seeing this stuff don't want to think about those things. Instead, they see the words propped up by liberal media and they go, okay, that fits my narrative. Fucking A, that right there. Don't need to look any further into it. The group of survivors stood with Republican and Democrat members of Congress to urge President Donald Trump to release the remainder of the Epstein files and hold powerful individuals accountable. You know who was absent from this press conference? Donald fucking Trump, because his ass is all over those files. Trump and senior members of his administration have refused to release more files, claiming there is no other new information. The refusal to release more documents has caused a rift among some MAGA supporters, but Krause is somewhat of an outlier. She attended Maxwell's trial and came to the conclusion that she was unfairly blamed for crimes committed by Epstein's clients. She showed up at the trial, guys. She's figured this out. Don't believe the women that were abused by this woman. Believe this fucking influencer that is on the internet telling you that she saw the trial, so it's all good. Her opinion of Maxwell has even inspired her to wear a Free Ghislaine t-shirt, much to the chagrin of influencers such as Laura Loomer. Dude, when you are earning the consternation of Laura Loomer, like, let me just say this. That's like this person recognized that there was a untested land. like she saw a territory that she's like, man, there's a lot of grifters over here. It's pretty packed in this bitch. And she was like, you know what? No one currently occupies the Free Ghislaine space. Holy fuck me running. Like, even Laura Loomer was like, yeah, that's too far for me, dog. Marjorie Taylor Greene was like, meh, probably not willing to go that far. Marjorie Taylor Greene was like, oh, look at that unoccupied territory. Somebody that defends the sexual assault victims on the right. She actually, smart move by Marjorie Taylor Greene. She saw a hole, and she was like, I'm hitting that hole, all right? She was like fucking Saquon Barkley in that bitch, all right? This lady literally looked to the furthest reaches of morality and was like, fuck it. How much money can I make off this? That's what she did. After being convicted of sex trafficking of a minor and other charges in 2021, Maxwell was sentenced to serve 20 years in federal prison. She was moved to a lower security prison this summer, soon after participating in a 2-day-long interview with Deputy Attorney Todd Blanc, who asked about those involved in Epstein's crimes. And we just recently had Ghislaine Maxwell, right? It was her attorney? Was it her attorney? Yeah, that was on TV on CNN that like pretty much said, look, that's the way the government works. The Ghislaine Maxwell was not going to say anything unless they were going to move her to a lower security prison. It's quid pro quo is what he said. We need to stop. No matter what fucking side of the aisle you're on, this should be something we can all agree on. This should be a sanity test. This is your litmus test if you're on the right. There is no fucking way that Donald Trump spends this fucking much time blocking these files unless there is a reason. There is no reason for Donald Trump to not go down there and stand with those women unless he's part of them files. There's no reason for a woman, an influencer, to do what she's doing on Instagram to these women who are victims unless it's to make money. Like, I am happy to explain the gears to you. Ask my wife. I like to tell people stuff. It's fucking mind-boggling. This is not some kind of fucking rocket science, okay? I have to be careful because I watch a lot of trailer parks and every once in a while I'll fucking do Ricky. What does he say? This isn't fucking rocket surgery. This isn't rocket surgery! It's unclear if Maxwell's sentence will be commuted or if she will be pardoned. That's fucking insane to even say that. Trump is not committed to doing so, but acknowledged he has the power. I'm done catering to a Me Too narrative that overlooks facts and common sense. That's ironic. It's the laziest form of journalism. That's ironic. A direct threat to our justice system. That's really ironic. Gender bias is cancer to our culture because no one questions these victims. They are free to twist and manipulate the story, Krauss also wrote. Believe women. How about examine the facts? And look, I'm a person that says you should believe victims, but we still need evidence of crimes. We do not want to put any person in a place where they are convicted by the court of public opinion without evidence. But you must believe a victim to start the process of showing that evidence. No one, and this is a straw man on her part, no one is making the argument that people should be held accountable without evidence. We are making the argument that that evidence is being suppressed because people in power that are important people, whether it's Donald Trump himself or people that he's friends with, that they do not want you to know about. That evidence needs to come clear to everybody so we can see it, so we can understand it, so we can make an educated opinion on what is happening. But let's talk a little bit more about that. And let's talk about how this is all going to end in extremely disappointing fashion, guys. Let's just talk about that. Let's talk about... God damn it. You guys, I can't read your fucking comments today. You guys have to give me 2 days before I start making jokes about this situation. Not this situation. Okay? Fucking, I need 2 days. All right? I need 2 days. All right?
It's like legalized comedy.
Guys. All right? Fucking guys. You guys are going to have me all up on this shit, like laughing and stuff. People are going to clip that shit and I'm going to look like a terrible human being. Okay. So to follow up with what I was just talking about there, let's talk about the fact that Republicans are now laughing off the birthday note. Let's remember the chronology of all of this. Trump ran on the Epstein files are real and we're going to show them to you. Trump ran on we're going to bring people to justice based off of the client list. Trump won because of those, partially because of that. Trump then said that they're going to release the client list. Pam Bondi said she's going to release the client list. Kash Patel said he's going to release the client list. Dan Bongina said he's going to release the client list. And then it was a hoax, guys. You know, we did some research into the subject, and it turns out this is all just a big Democrat hoax written by Joe Biden and Barack Obama and James Comey, apparently. Anyways. And then Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal pulls a out of the fucking blue, straight out of left field move and says, hey, check this out. Here's this picture that was drawn, that was sent to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday that Ghislaine Maxwell had asked for from Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump said, I don't write pictures. I don't write pictures. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't write pictures. People then proved he does indeed write pictures. Then he said it doesn't exist. It's fake news. Turns out it does exist. This was given over to the subcommittee that's going over this stuff, right? Or the committee that's going over, oversight committee that's going over this. They see this. They say, wow, that's crazy. In fact, it's worse than the fucking picture that we saw before, because the first picture that we saw actually looked like it was a grown woman. This one looks like it's the body of a child that this is drawn around. And it's signed by Donald Trump. Then what did people say? They said, oh, no, that's not Donald Trump's signature, guys. That's not Donald Trump's signature. And then people came out and showed a bunch of Donald Trump signatures that look exactly like Donald Trump's signature in the birthday book. How far into this we get? How far into this shit do we get before fucking this shit is just brain breaking for everybody else? Because this has already broken my fucking brain, okay? Because now this oversight committee of Republicans are saying, Donald Trump said it's not real, so we're going to take him at his word. When in the history of the fucking presidency have we ever been in a place where the president of the United States was accused of something and every politician involved was like, you know, we're just going to take his word at it? This is fucking insane that we live in this time. Like, Nixon didn't get away with this shit. George Bush Jr. didn't get away with this shit. Bill Clinton didn't get away with this shit. Fuck, even Barack Obama didn't get away with this shit. And here we fucking are. Joe Biden, on his way out the fucking door, was taking so much shit from the left that Kamala Harris lost the fucking presidency. It's fucking bananas, guys. So let's watch this video of these dipshits, and then we'll talk about the article. Oh, we gotta unmute it.
Clearly, the birthday note from President Trump is a fallacy. It's just not true, and that's a leftist talking point. It's hard.
What would be your evidence for it not being true? It's just not true.
I wanted to get your reaction to the release of the Epstein estate documents.
I haven't looked at them. Yeah.
Are you concerned about President?
Dude, when you're asking a dude who's been accused of covering up sexual assault crimes, whether or not he thinks this dude sexually assaulted someone, that's how you know we live in fucking crazy land, guys. Fucking Chip Jordan's like, thank God they're not talking about my alleged crimes anymore.
Donald Trump.
The president says he did not sign it.
Oh my God, James Comer. Like, if there was a picture next to a definition in a dictionary for the words useful idiot, James Comer's ass would be right up in that motherfucker. Like I said, this is going to end in a very disappointing fashion. I'm going to get to that in a second, but we're going to talk about James Comer's part in that.
So I take the president at his word. I don't think the Oversight Committee is going to invest in looking up something 22 years ago. We're going to look.
So you're just going to take the president at his word?
You mean when all this shit happened? 22 years ago when the crimes were going on? We don't want to look into the period of time in which the crimes were happening, whether or not evidence exists from that time. What the fuck time are we looking at?
That this is not it.
What does it have to do with anything?
What does it have to do with anything, he says. Okay. So Republican lawmakers have no interest in probing a sexually suggestive letter President Donald Trump wrote to Jeffrey Epstein. Kentucky Rep. James Comer, chairman of the Oversight Committee, handed Trump a massive win in the Epstein saga on Tuesday by waving off a greeting written by the president for the notorious sex offender's 50th birthday. The president says he did not sign it. I don't think we're going to look into it. CNN's chief congressional correspondent, Manju Rashu, asked if he'd probe the issue. We just saw that. On Monday, Democrats on the Oversight Committee published all 238 pages of an infamous birthday book compiled for Epstein by his then-girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. The third volume of the book contains a letter signed by Trump that concludes, "A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." The lengthy greeting was overlaid with a doodle showing the silhouette of a woman's body. I will correct that. It was not a woman's body. It was a child's body. The White House maintained that Trump did not write and did not sign the letter, with Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt offering to welcome a handwriting expert to back up its denial, which would be really bad for them because it turns out that there are literal copies of Donald Trump's signature that look exactly, and I do mean fucking exactly, like that one. Like, they would be better off claiming that this shit was a copy or a forgery or a trace of his signature. What they should not be doing is saying that ain't his signature, because that is 100% 10 toes down, definitely his fucking signature. Conservatives quickly fell in line and echoed the administration's talking points. We saw what Jim Jordan did. Here's the picture right here. That's fucking gross. That's gross. There is no place in my life that you could ever show me that picture and me be like, oh, that came from like a normal person. If somebody came, one of my buddies came up to me and showed me that fucking picture. I was trying not to curse today. It's not working out well. That picture, I'd be like, bro, don't, like, what is that? Why do you have that? Why are you trying to show me this? Like, what the fuck, man? Why do we live in this stupid, like, fucking reality? Why this dumb timeline? Why? Trump previously dismissed the birthday greeting as a fake. I don't even know what they're talking about, he told reporters in July when the Wall Street Journal first reported on the letter. Now somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that happened a lot. Shortly after, Democrats published birthday book on Monday. Comer accused him of cherry-picking documents and politicizing information. Cherry-picking documents. So you pulled the one out that had Donald Trump's name on it. I don't think that's called cherry-picking, James. Don't think that... The funny thing is they did show pictures of the other shit that was included in that book. And let's just say it's not good, guys. It's bad. Like, this is the type of shit that you would actually not expect to happen because you're like, bro, if somebody found that book, you would definitely be put on trial and found guilty of all of those crimes because that is the most evidence that anybody really would need to ever convict you of that crime. But we live in a society where the crimes of the white collar go unpunished because people are too distracted trying to punish the crimes of the blue collar people that they live around. Like, all day long, Donald Trump can commit fraud in his investment ventures. He can use meme coins for corruption. But if I don't pay my taxes, you fucking get mad at me. Middle class, working class people get mad at me if I don't pay my taxes and think I should go to jail. Meanwhile, it's okay for Donald Trump to commit fraud and use meme coins to scam elderly people out of their retirement savings. Does anybody else not hear the fucking words that I'm coming out of my mouth and do not understand that this is not me versus you, this is us versus them? Does anybody else not understand that 2,000 years ago, Aristotle predicted this? That if you allow oligarchs to rise into authority, that they will take advantage of you. That all societies should be based off of what drives the optimal happiness for the people, not for the few. That's Aristotle. That's 2,000 years ago. This isn't fucking rocket science. They didn't have rockets, okay? I don't even think they could fly back then. Pretty sure. I don't know. Google that. Thank you for the $5. Thank you for the $5, Philip. I'm surprised Trump and his people didn't cry deep fake for the pictures. Exactly. Come on, man. That's a fucking softball. But they know, that's the thing, Philip, is they know they don't need to even try anymore. They know they don't need to try, and that should make you fucking mad. If you are a Republican and you have realized now that Trump and the people around him have literally figured out that they don't even have to attempt to make the shit that they say make sense, you should be mad. They think you're stupid. They think you're a moron. They think you're sheep. It's not just me saying it anymore. It's them saying it now too, which means I'm going to say it more. Like, at least when I say you're a moron, the reason I'm saying it is because I'm trying to tell you you're a moron. And I would love for you to be like, you know what, actually, I think some of the shit you said might be true. They're not saying it hoping that you wake up. They're saying you're a moron because they like it, because this is how they live their life. This is how they continue to get the things that they want, is by using you and your low intelligence. You'll literally live a life building robots so Elon Musk can have friends while smoking cigarettes outside of the factory so that way you die before you're 60, so that way nobody has to pay you a pension. And you're like, you know who I'm mad at? That brown dude. I don't know. He looked like an immigrant to me. That trans person that makes up fucking 0.6% of the entire population. That's who you're mad at. What are we doing? Do you want to have a better life? Aristotle believed all constitutions should be built around what makes the optimal happiness for people. He didn't even believe that there shouldn't be wealthy people. He didn't even believe that there shouldn't be an upper class or an aristocracy. He just believed that if you wanted to have those things, that you still had to take care of the fucking middle class. That's not some kind of complex fucking plan. What we're going through right now is a stage of greed that has not been seen since the first Gilded Age. And there is history to show you that this is exactly what happened then. Donald Trump, at the beginning of all of this shit, said, you know, the greatest time in America was 1870 to 1900. Did you guys know that? 1870 to 1913. If Trump supporters understood how to look deeper into a question, all they had to do was Google what happened between 1870 and 1913, and you would have learned all about the Gilded Age. They know you won't ever look into anything they say ever, and they're counting on it, because now they're not even trying to make this any different. Like, they're not trying to make it make sense. They're just like, fuck it, we don't even have to try anymore. Let's just tell these morons that it's fucking not real. Awesome. They don't even have to deep fake it anymore. Shortly after Democrats... Okay, sorry. Shortly after Democrats published the birthday book on Monday, Comer accused them of cherry-picking documents and politicizing information, even though Epstein's estate handed over the document because of a subpoena signed by Comer himself. Maybe we'll end the stream early tonight. I don't know if I can do 3 hours of this shit. Like I said, I can work at McDonald's and get paid more. But Philip's actually, thank you, Philip, for the dinero tonight, my friend. President Trump is not accused of any wrongdoing, and Democrats are ignoring the new information the committee received today. Comer said the committee will pursue additional Epstein bank records based on this new information. Democrats must decide if their priority is justice for survivor or politics. They're not mutually exclusive. That's the issue here. Comer also told reporters that the committee was looking into ways to interview potential Epstein associates who were name-dropped by survivors at a meeting with lawmakers last week. Mr. President, the Epstein case is far from dead and is not a hoax. In fact, oversight Dems are just getting started in our investigation. We will fight like hell to get the truth and end the White House cover-up, Robert Garcia tweeted on September 9th. California Democrat Robert Garcia, a ranking member of the Oversight Committee, warned that the Epstein case is far from dead and is not a hoax. God damn it. Garcia, who Comer described as a drama queen, said an Oversight Committee team was poring over all documents handed over by the Epstein estate. In fact, Oversight Dems are just getting started in our investigation. Like, him calling Garcia a drama queen is akin to an abuser telling a woman to calm down. Dark, that would get me in a lot of trouble. I don't smoke anymore anyways, but there are certain things that you cannot do or say on stream that will 100% get you banned. And that is, I believe, one of them. Some people have gotten away from it. I just saw a dude the other day, apparently he was cleaning a musket on stream, and somebody reported his ass, and he got in trouble for that. So you gotta be real careful with things you do here on stream in YouTube land. So, you know, this is my thing. I'm not stopping talking about the things that need to be talked about. The only reason I do this shit is because I do care about what's going on. I do think that it's important. I do want there to be some type of conclusion to this. But unfortunately, I'm not sure that there will be. I don't know if we're ever going to actually see these crimes punished. I don't know, because one side of the aisle refuses to even join hands with the other side of the aisle over children being harmed, something that should be absolutely the most common sense thing ever. Like I said, today we see a celebrity die on the same day that 3 children are put in critical condition in the hospital, or 2 children and 1 other child that is not in critical condition, put into a hospital. And what this society gives a fuck about is the celebrity dying, not the children. Like, we're cooked. I don't know how you fix this. You know, my point of view was that if you mock absurdity, that eventually, you know, people will come around to the fact that it's absurd and that this is stupid and this isn't what we should be doing. But how many jokes can I make? How many times can I mock something? How many times can I call somebody a moron? How many times can I sit up here and say, bro, does this not seem sus to you? How many times does it take? How many licks does it take to get to the middle of a Tootsie Roll Pop? That's what I feel like right now. I feel like that fucking owl. Fucking owl. 1, 2, 3. Like, we're going to be here all fucking day. Philip, thank you for the $2. One day I'll move my ass to the Netherlands. Okay, let me know how it's over there. How it is over there. Because I could probably do that too. I could probably Netherlands, as long as I'm pretty hot. All right. I can't go places where it's too hot. I also can't go places where it's too cold. I need my porridge to be just right, guys. The other things that are going on right now. This is why this job is crazy. This is well above my pay grade, just so you guys know. Is that recently I believe it was just this morning, it was reported that Russia flew 18 drones over Poland and invaded their airspace. That is fucking crazy. And I know right now it's not. This is the timeline that we live in right now. Is I'm going to tell you guys that, and you guys are going to be like, so? Dude, what about Charlie Kirk dying? What about the Epstein files? What about all the other crazy shit? What about the school shooting? I'm like, do you guys know that there's some fucking drones that invaded a sovereign country's airspace? For the first time in like a long fucking time? Did you guys know that's bad? This is how I feel right now. I just want you guys to know this.
I love Tesla.
This is how I feel right now. I feel fucking crazy.
I love Tesla.
We gotta go back. Is that Back to the Future where they say that shit? We gotta go back. Oh, Jesus Christ. How far back do we go to fix this, guys? All right. Trump tweeted, "Here we go," by the way. Oh, fuck me. The President of the United States, the President of the fucking United States of America, is tweeting, "Here we go," with an exclamation mark, after a sovereign country had its airspace invaded by a much larger country that is currently invading Ukraine. Like, we have literally seen this storyline before. For those of you that don't remember, Adolf Hitler, you know, his coming out party was Poland. And there was an attempt at dressing some security guards up in German uniforms and laying their bodies out, to which, of course, America actually reacted with, "Here we go." I'm pretty sure if Franklin Roosevelt had Twitter back when the war popped off, he would have been all up on the X tweeting, "Here we go," after Hitler posted on X a picture of a couple German soldiers that had been murdered by Polish troops. Why is poor Poland, man? Poor Poland. Why is Poland always like the fucking opening salvo? Is it where they're situated? Somebody that knows more about this, help me out with this. Like, it's fucking wild to me that Poland, every time. It's like, I don't know. Where do you guys want to start this shit? You thought about doing it in Poland? Yeah, I mean, why not? Everybody else does. Like, come on, man. How about Argentina? Sorry, Argentinians. My bad. Maybe I shouldn't advise where we should start the next world war. Anyways, here we go. Trump reacts after Russian drones shot down over Poland. President Donald Trump offered his first reaction to Russia's drone incursion on Poland, which the country's military and European leaders condemned as unprecedented. What's with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? Here we go. Trump wrote on his social media platform on Wednesday. Can we just all agree that it's insane that the President of the United States woke up, took a deuce, and tweeted that out? Okay, guys, let's get together with our strategists. Let's talk to some foreign some international experts. Let's talk about whether or not this is something, that we're gonna go to war with or them or not over. And then let's schedule a press conference, and then we'll give a speech on this subject. Instead of that, the President of the United States was like, "Ooh, that's crazy. Wow, here we go." He's literally fucking Anchorman. He's Ron Burgundy. Wow. What's with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? We are led by the dumbest human being in the country. How did this happen? We are pining for the days of Donald Trump Jr. Oh, God, I didn't say that. That was, I meant George Bush Jr. I'm sorry for saying that. I think actually Don Jr. could be a better president than his dad. Not that I want that to happen. I don't want to jinx us, okay? I'm just saying Don Jr. might be so fucking, busy throwing wild-ass Coke parties that he might not be doing all the crazy shit his dad's doing. It would be the White House, like cowboy style. What is this shit, man? Why is this where we're at? Can anybody answer that question? No, you can't. You know why? Because it's too dumb. This shit is too dumb for there to be an answer. Because even if you're on the right and you're a conservative, I'm not talking about MAGA, okay? MAGA Republicans are lost. They're in a cult. There's nothing that Donald Trump does that is ever going to upset them, including, I made this joke. I said they could have this motherfucker on video touching children, and they would be like, cool, we're for touching children now. That's what they would do. And they're proving me right. But conservatives, if you are a conservative, if you still have just regular ass, I know that people don't even believe these people exist anymore. I understand. But if you just have regular ass conservative values, you're I don't know, we get the 10 Commandments in school or something, we need Jesus in the morning. Shit like that we used to just kind of be like, whatever, dude, shut up. If you're out there, can you please tell me whether or not you don't think it's fucking weird that the President of the United States responded to another sovereign country's airspace being invaded by a country that is literally set on imperialism with Russia's violating Poland's airspace with drones? He's asking you guys on Twitter if you guys got the down low. Come on, man. Can I get a perspective? Polish airspace was violated by at least 19 Russian drones overnight, the country's prime minister said. I'm surprised that Donald Trump just didn't tweet out fake news. Probably just an AI video. The Russian action prompted NATO to scramble a response as 2 Polish F-16s and 2 Dutch F-35s were deployed to shoot them down. It marked the first time in the alliance's history that fighters had engaged potential targets in Allied airspace. That, means something. According to Colonel Martin L. O'Donnell, a spokesperson for Supreme Headquarters Allied Powered Europe. First of all, that sounds like... Okay, the acronym for them is SHAPE. Supreme Headquarters Allied Powers Europe. SHAPE. That one didn't get thought through. Trump spoke with Polish President Karol Nawrocki on Wednesday afternoon regarding the repeated violation of Polish airspace by Russian drones, which occurred last night, the Polish leader said in a post on X. He didn't say, wow, these drones are invading our airspace. What's up with that? Thank God I don't know much about the new Polish prime minister, but I have a feeling even the lowest of lows are smarter than our leader. He's smart enough not to tweet that shit out. That's pretty good. That's solid. I'd take that right now. The conversation is part of a series of consultations I am conducting with our allies, Nawrocki said. Today's talks confirmed Allied unity. What is it like to have a human being speak like a human being as your leader? It feels like it was so long ago. Officials with the Polish Interior Ministry said police, border guard, and fire officials remained on constant alert. That must have been... Trump must have told them to get the border guard ready. Trump was like, you have drones in your airspace. The first thing you need to do is you got to get all the brown people out of your country. Like I can tell you right now, yeah, the drones are scary. You know why the drones are here? Mexicans. I tell you, they're bad hombres. Do you think when Trump talks, people's brain just turns off and they're just like, just as long as you promise to fucking give us an aid, dude, we'll just listen to whatever dumb shit you have to say? Debris from 16 drones had been located in several Polish towns, the Interior Ministry said. Last week, Trump pledged to help Poland protect itself during a bilateral meeting with Nawrocki at the White House. We're with Poland all the way, Trump said at the time, which probably was a goddamn lie, to be honest with you. I will not be surprised if Donald Trump, in fact, does not do a goddamn thing when Poland actually does harm, or Russia does actually harm Poland. We will probably give Russia 2 weeks to stop harming Poland before we put some real legit fucking mean sanctions on you, brother. Just, I want you to know that, 2 weeks to stop invading Poland, or I'll tell you this right now, we're going to make your oil cheaper. Shit's going to happen. Don't force me to do this. 2 weeks. Polish Foreign Minister Radek Sikorski had strong words for Trump during a news conference on Wednesday, telling reporters Russian President Vladimir Putin laughs at Trump's peace efforts. He also laughs at us. And that feels bad, bro. It does, in fact, feel bad, bro. Putin laughs at President Trump's peace efforts, Sikorski said. Since Alaska, he has only intensified the war. I hope that Trump backs his words with action. Yeah, don't wait too long for that one, bro. We've all been waiting. It's not happening. It's been the longest 24 hours of my entire fucking life. He was going to release his dictatorship over the country the first day. Still in that first day, he was going to stop the Ukrainian war in the first 24 hours with one phone call. Still waiting for that. He was going to drive down grocery prices. CPI just came out, 0.3 up. We are literally celebrating right now that PPI was reduced by 0.1. 1 month after PPI going up a full percentage point, we are now actually cheering a 0.1 reduction. CPI has literally gone up every month of this year since Donald Trump has gone into the presidency. And if you don't know what that means that we have all been paying higher and higher prices since Donald Trump started. The only thing that has actually been reduced in this country is the price of gasoline. And that is only because Donald Trump has literally driven the price of oil into the fucking dirt, which has cost tons of people in the oil industry their jobs, which usually I wouldn't feel bad about, except for, those people happen to be middle-class, blue-collar people as well. So once again, we're the ones getting fucked. Yeah. What is your name again? Sikorski? Trump backs his words with action. Not really something that we're used to over here in America. So good luck with that, though. Good luck. In response to the overnight incursion, the U.S. ambassador to NATO, Matthew Whitaker, posted a short message on X. We stand by our NATO allies in the face of these airspace violations and will defend every inch of NATO territory. Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath, guys. I wouldn't hold my...
I love Tesla.
That's where I'm at. Yeah, I like my normal streams better, guys. I do. I like my normal streams better. When I just get to fucking make fun of all this shit. It's better that way. When I have to be up here and do the goddamn news media's job for them, this shit is not as much fun. And it's all Redonk's fault. Redonk, I hope you're still here hearing me blame you. How are you guys doing tonight? I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope everybody's doing all right. I love you guys. I want you guys to know that. Solidarity, motherfuckers. We're going to win. We can win this. You know, there's a certain point during certain shit, I turn around and I look at people. And they're all sad and they're ready to quit. And I'm like, no. We win this. We win this. And a lot of time I'm bullshitting. I'm just trying to keep morale up, guys. But I mean this shit, okay? We win this. God damn it, we do not bend, we do not buckle. We do not become exhausted, we do not become apathetic. We take a deep breath, we live to fight another day, and we get back out there and we keep doing the thing. Because that's what we do. And you know, we've gone through some times, man. I've told you guys, like, you're not going to agree with everything I say. I know some of you still fucking mad at me for saying y'all need to stop being mad at Brian Tyler Cohen. But this is what I was talking about when I was talking about that, is that there's so much that we need to be concentrating on and like little shit within the party that, you know, I agree you guys have valid arguments against, like that. This just ain't the time. Like, we can get to that, but first we need to win this. We win this, then we deal with it. But there's too much on this fucking plate right now, man. We need to have solidarity. We need to present a unified front. Like, sports are one of my favorite analogies, man. Like, not everybody on a winning sports team likes each other, right? But like, specifically, like, you take something like the offensive line in a football team, maybe not every person on that team likes each other. Shit, some of them don't like the quarterback, right? But the moment that you give into that and you say to yourself, like, I'm going to be that chain, that weak link, because I'm mad at somebody on my team, and you just let that defensive tackle run through the line and smash that quarterback that, you know, you got mad at because he yelled at you the other day, like, that's not helping your cause, man. That puts you 10 yards back. That's putting you in a 2nd and 20. And I don't mean you can't get a first down, but too many, too many self-inflicted wounds, and it's over. We got to be better. We got to be, more solid, and we can get to a point where we can get back to, like I said the other day, I was like, look, motherfuckers, if we can get to a point where we win some shit, y'all can go back to choking each other out on the cement. All right, that's fine. But first, we need to have control of the shit that's going on in the important places. We need to make sure that people are okay, people are taken care of, that LGBT people aren't afraid of being erased, that, people that are working here and aren't committing crimes, that are doing like the work that is important to the economy of this country and to the people of this country, aren't being snatched up off the street and being, removed from our country without due process. We need to make sure that shit's taken care of. Then we can get to fucking choking each other on the street corner. I'm down with that. You guys know I like a little fucking MMA. We can do that. But until then, you ain't going to catch me on this stream fucking talking about, Destiny versus Hassan or Vosh versus fucking, I don't know. Who does Vosh fight with? I don't know. I really don't know who any of these people really fight with. All I know is recently people were fighting, and I see these videos these fucking content creators make fighting with each other all the time. And I'm like, dude, why are we making content like that? It's, once again, just going back to the shit I talked about at the beginning of the show. It's because it's clicks and views and it's money. I'm going to put the health of this country, I'm going to put the health of my family, the health of my friends, and I think you guys are my friends, right? My family. I think of you guys that way. I'm going to put your health above clicks and views. And, you know, to be honest, that's probably a losing fucking strategy. You can't win. Family. I think of you guys that way. I'm going to put your health above clicks and views. And, you know, to be honest, that's probably a losing fucking strategy. You can't win. I don't know. I haven't watched this video. So I did cue this video up with an intention. I did cue this up with an intention. So let's hope this is what this video is about. I queued this video up to say, oh, am I not going to... I could talk about Nepal. Actually, here. Let's talk about Nepal. That's actually a good place to talk about, not NRP. Let's talk about a little bit about Nepal. That's actually a great call. Great call, Super Saint. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. You guys are saying there's buffering? Yeah, I do see a little bit of blurriness on my stream right now. My kids are probably playing Roblox. What is the CNN? I guess I can agree. Parliament in flames. A leader toppled. Nepal's Gen Z protesters ask, what comes next? This is big. Like, take a look at this. Take a look at what the Nepalese are doing right now. Like, they have forced these people to resign. Like, this is real. This is real. Right here. Wait. Rita, what are you saying? Which guy? I don't know what you guys are talking about. You hate me. This is real change. This is effective change. These are people that, as we all know, the Nepalese have, have a very corrupt government, a government that has been doing absolutely horrific shit to people for a long fucking time. And Gen Z, you know what? All of you guys give these young people such a hard time, and I give you guys a hard time for giving them a hard time. I say all the time, I believe in young people. I believe in the youth. I believe that young kids actually get a really bad reputation. I think that the Gen Z and below are going to make such a huge difference in this society, and this gives me hope. Seeing this right here. What began as a Gen Z-led social media movement, first of all, me and you and every other old person would give Gen Z people a hard time for being on social media. I'm one of those people, okay? Right there. Started on social media, guys. We wrong, okay? Against the lavish lifestyle of Nepo kids led to the ousting of a prime minister and the deadliest social unrest Nepal has seen in years. Now, mind you, protesters died. I think it was 19, 20 people were shot. Plumes of dark smoke towered above soldiers, enforcing a curfew on the quiet streets of Kathmandu Wednesday morning as rumors swirled about a possible meeting between the leaderless Gen Z movement, the army, and the president. An uneasy calm after 2 nights of chaos that saw tens of thousands of people pour out into the streets to vent their fury, setting fire to Parliament and the Supreme Court. I'm not allowed to advocate for any actions on this channel. I'm just going to say that sounded like a good plan. Setting fire to Parliament and the Supreme Court, key symbols of state, and clashing with the government forces sent to keep them under control. The unrest started in early September when a group of young Nepalese, fed up with seeing politicians' children posting about their designer handbags and luxury travel while most people struggle to make ends meet, organized a peaceful protest. This should all sound familiar. I think that people do not really understand like the progression of what is going on right now in this country is, right? Like, this is where it's supposed to begin. Is you're supposed to see the oligarchs flaunting their wealth. You're supposed to see the people in authority being corrupt and doing these things to you. And that is supposed to evoke anger in you, because these are the cycles of humanity. It's the human condition. It's that people oftentimes forget that what you're happy with is not always what everyone else is happy with. And some people in our society, when given the chance to do so, take advantage of people like yourself, like myself, people that do not need to be wealthy, do not need to be in control of other human beings. And then we think, oh, why would that person do something like that? And until we see a person doing it, sometimes it doesn't have the impact that is necessary to create a movement like what we see right now. And these Nepalese, they did that. They said, this is unfair, and this is what Americans should be doing. We should be together saying that there shouldn't be children starving in this country while a man has $500 billion. There shouldn't be people in this country that have no health care, while there are people in our society that are legit buying up land to create their own cities. We should be enraged by something like the wealth gap, not because it is immoral to own or have more money than somebody else, but that it is immoral to have so much more resources than somebody else that it causes society to collapse upon itself. That's what should make you mad. I don't care how much money people have. I want to know what they do with it. I want to see positive outcomes. I want to see things get better for the people around me. I have a good life. Like I'm just like you. I'm always on the edge of losing everything I have due to one medical mishap. That's true. And there are things that I want in my life, like I would love better healthcare. I haven't been to a dentist in 20 years because I don't have the money to spend on that kind of thing. I haven't, I go to the doctor because I'm old enough now that I worry about colon cancer. But the day that I find out that I have colon cancer, everything falls, right? I lose the time at work. I have a home, but I can lose that home. But what I really care about is seeing other people taken care of. What I really care about is not having to constantly read about children in our society not being taken care of. Like, the happier society is, the better my life is. And if my life is good now, I can only imagine how much better it would be if the people around me also were doing well. And like I said, that's an Aristotle thing. That is the idea that optimal happiness for society should be the ruling law of government, right? So anyways, I'm just saying the Nepalese have followed this path, this cycle, right? They've seen the oligarchs. It pissed them off. And now anger had been brewing for years about the country's worsening youth unemployment crisis and lack of economic opportunities, exacerbated but by what many viewed as a growing disparity between the country's elite and regular people. Like I said, this should all sound familiar. Word quickly spread in the Himalayan country of 30 million. Then a government ban last week on more than 24 social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, added fuel to the fire. So why did they ban WhatsApp? Why did they ban Facebook? And why did they ban Instagram? Because they began this movement on social media. Because the best way to keep people from doing something like overthrowing a corrupt government is to keep them from banding together. Unfortunately, here in America, social media has had actually the opposite effect. And I think a huge part of that is because of the way that we have instituted capitalism as the state religion. And that is, when you incentivize people on Twitter to divide people, then they are going to do that. And they are going to make it the main reason that they are on that social media platform. I can speak to this. I'm up here. I don't think I'm that much better than any other human being. In fact, I know that oftentimes I say things that people probably find extremely offensive. I think that sometimes my opinions on things are probably not what like a really good human being would have. But I know that there's lines that I'm not willing to cross, and those lines oftentimes are lines where I feel like I'm taking advantage of people for monetary gain. It's just, for me, it doesn't feel right. The buildup to frustration was what led to this movement. Sarisha, oh God, why do you have to have names? Like, I can't, I'm from the trailer park. Sarisha said, that's in my wheelhouse, all right? That's like Shanetta, Shoquina. I can do that. Sarisha, who attended the protest, told CNN, describing the social media bans as the last straw. That's amazing, to be honest with you. I'm glad that they chose that time, because imagine if they had banned social media and people just went, well, fuck, it's over. The unemployment rate for youth aged 15 to 24 in Nepal was 20.8% in 2024. That's insane. 1 in 5 young people, according to the World Bank, forcing many young people to move abroad to find work. More than a third of Nepal's GDP came from personal remittances, according to the World Bank, a number that has steadily risen over the past 3 decades. Social media is the only platform where we can talk and share and follow the global media, said Praman, a filmmaker in Nepal who attended the protests. Most of our friends, our families, our brothers are outside the country, so that was the medium of communication. So actually, okay, so I'm learning about this along with you guys, right? Okay, so I see like the connections of why also social media is very important to be able to communicate with people outside of the country. On Monday morning, thousands of young people, including many dressed in school uniforms, gathered at that place, Mandala, a monument in the heart of Kathmandu near the federal parliament building. But the protest quickly spiraled out of control when some of the protesters surged toward Parliament building and began climbing up the gate, clashing with police. Police used live ammunition, water cannons, and tear gas against protesters, according to Reuters news agency. You just have to, Maddie, you just came in at the right time. Thank you for being here for that. I don't know how long you've been here, but I just saw your comment. You came in at the right time. Live ammunition. How do Americans respond to live ammunition used against their own population? Like, that's the real question, right? Like, that's where we're at. We're on the border of it. We're borderline right now. How do we react to live ammunition used on protesters? I mean, I know how I would react. The question is could we do it in a way where we have solidarity? Like, could we, the American people, the blue collar, working class, middle class Americans that are most affected by these things, that are most capable of fighting against these things, could we do what these Nepalese young people did? That's a real question, and I don't know the answer to that, because unfortunately I think I want to be very pessimistic about what the answer to that would be. Nearly 19 people were killed. I thought it was 19 people wounded. Nearly 19 people were killed and hundreds were wounded in the clashes Monday, according to Nepali authorities. We all felt very hopeless and helpless at that point. Shrestha, oh fuck me. That lady said. Several government ministers, including the Home Minister, resigned in the wake of the violence, which sparked widespread outrage both within Nepal and internationally. On Tuesday, the protest ballooned as people of all ages defied curfews and came out in the streets to protest the government's bloody crackdown. Gen Z demanded accountability and fair investigation for this corruption, the luxury lifestyle of all these corrupted politicians' kids. Shri Gorung, who went to the protests after seeing reports that young people were being killed. But unfortunately, what we saw was the government using excessive force and murdering these youths. From there, the unrest escalated. Protesters smashed windows and looted local businesses and set government buildings on fire. Now, this would be the place where so many people in this country would be manipulated by the media to say, oh, there they go again. There's those black people. There's those LGBT people. There's those minorities. They're looting and pillaging and destroying communities, and literally the blue-collar working class would once again turn on itself. Again. Protesters smashed windows and looted local businesses and set government buildings on fire. The country's main international airport reopened on Wednesday after being shut for 24 hours because of the violence. The Supreme Court and the Singha Durbar, a sprawling palace complex in Kathmandu with houses in Nepal's government ministries, were both set on fire. Photos showed protesters standing upon Singha Durbar waving the Nepali flag in scenes reminiscent of a student-led uprising that toppled a government in neighboring Bangladesh last year. I mean, just look at those pictures, man. So they got the guy to step down. They got what they wanted, but they didn't do it without a cost, right? Like, we have to understand that there potentially is going to be a real cost for every single one of us. But the question, is do we do it to ourselves, or do we fight against them and show that these people are willing to do whatever to hold on to the power that they have? Like, I think that there's a real problem with America, and that problem is the entitlement, the American exceptionalism, the wedge that has been driven between all of us because capitalism has taught us that it's not a team game, it's an individual's game, and that anything that anybody else has means that's something that you don't have, and you should work hard to take that from them. And that literally creates an atmosphere where we can never actually get together and work in any type of tandem, right? Like I said, even on the left, when you talk about the left, there's so much infighting about what is the priority or what should be like the boundaries that we use as guardrails for our movement, keeps us from being able to work together. And that's a real issue. We need to start to understand what the goal is. What is the optimal priorities of getting what we think is best for society, and then we need to start working towards those things. The Nepalese don't have the problem, or I'm sorry, the Nepalese do not have the problem of entitlement. We do. What we have a problem with is we are entitled, we are spoiled. We would rather sit at home and watch Netflix than protest. We would rather sit at home and know that things are bad for others than attempt to do something about them. We would rather stay within our comfort zones rather than speak to somebody that may disagree with us. And the Nepalese don't get to have that. That's not something that's not a privilege for them. And I think that Americans need to remember that. As I said before, I think the actions that are going in Gaza right now of the Israeli government are horrific. I think the things that are being done to the people of Gaza are terrible. And if there's a person that is on the left with me that says, hey man, I agree with that, but maybe it's not a genocide, I don't need to rip that person a new one for not saying that word. I need to recognize that this person agrees with me on the fundamental value of those lives. And I don't need to be caught up in the semantics of whether or not that they agree with me on those levels. I need them to understand that what is going on is bad. And I need myself to understand that I may have a differing opinion on exactly what it looks like. Just the same way as I can say that if somebody were to say to me, well, within the Muslim community, there seems to be people that hate LGBT people, that would harm those people. I need to be able to understand that that is a good point of view and a valid point of view without saying, oh, so then you're anti-Palestine, right? Just like if somebody says to you that people that live within Israel are not representative of their government, therefore saying that anybody that lives in Israel is a part of what's going on in Gaza, even if you disagree, you still have to recognize that that's a valid argument. And it should not be something that drives this huge wedge between us. It should be something that we should say, let's help people in Gaza, and then let's talk about the nuances of what is going on there. Let's do that. The Nepalese don't have the comforts to sit around and debate nuances of conflict. They understand that the conflict is on their front door and that they must do something about it. And the conflict after today, because what happened with Charlie Kirk is an escalation, and it is not going to be the last escalation. It it does not show any sign of de-escalating this situation. It is only going to escalate this situation. And people on the left need to find common solidarity amongst themselves, regardless of nuances and what they believe priorities should be, to present a unified front against what is coming, or there is no positive outcome. There's no positive outcome to a fascist regime getting what they want. There is no positive outcome to an authoritarian government getting more power and becoming stronger. There is only negative outcomes. And even if conservatives don't recognize this, those negative outcomes are for them as well. Even if they don't recognize it. It's for everybody in our position. I guess this is probably a good time to play this video. This is probably the closest I'm going to get to an appropriate segue for this video, to be honest. So I saw this as I was logging on, and like I said, I just got home. Holy shit, what a day. I am so drained. I am so done. This is like, I had the Epstein victims videos the other day. That was really emotional. And I felt pretty drained after that. And then today, all this stuff, I'm like, dude, I am so exhausted. I am so exhausted. So I got home, I saw this, and this is what I'm talking about. So I get on, I see Adam Mockler saying Fox host declares war after Charlie Kirk's death. And I want people to recognize that if this is not just clickbait, if this is what Jesse Waters is appealing to in this video, now is not the time for the left to be fighting over nuances and arguments or where they get their money from or things like that. Like, I am happy to be there with you guys arguing with motherfuckers over AIPAC at some point, for sure. But right, you got bigger fish to fry. We got to concentrate on what we're concentrating on, and then we get to work on the things once we start to have a nice, solid foundation. So let's see if that's what this is about. I did not watch the video. Did not pre-watch.
Breaking news. Less than 1 hour after conservative commentator Charlie Kirk was tragically pronounced dead, MAGA Fox News host Jesse Waters goes live on air and declares war. He decides to use the most incendiary, divisive rhetoric by claiming, quote, "They're at war with us. What are we going to do about it?" I want to highlight the shooter is still at large. The Chiron on Fox News says, police looking for Kirk shooting suspect. So the Chiron is admitting that
that's actually a very valid point on Adam Mockler's part there, is that we haven't even gotten to the point where we've identified who this person is. And I know that the narrative that most likely fits the scenario would be that this would be some disenfranchised lefty that wanted to put, Charlie Kirk out of our misery. But that's not what we've seen in the past. In fact, obviously, that young man that either took a shot at Trump or didn't, depending on what you think about that situation. If you believe the backstory of that kid, he was a young person that was disillusioned with life, that was just saw no future for him and chose to take out the people that he thought were, in charge of his future that had failed him. And that was, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, other people in power. Or when we look at the man who allegedly stuck the gun through the fence in Mar-a-Lago, that was a ex-Trump supporter who was upset with Trump for not following through with the things that he thought Trump should have followed through with. Even with, what was it, the birthing clinic, the clinic, right? And was it 21 Palms? That person was somebody that believed that no one should be forced to have to come to life, a really crazy ideology. An IVF clinic was what it was. Really crazy ideology to do with that. No one should be able to be forced into life. Oftentimes, the person that commits these acts, even if you were like happy that this happened, generally the person who did it is not a person that is anything like you. So that's actually a really valid point on Adam Mockler's part, saying that we don't even know who this person is. People are just inserting their boogeyman into this. And this is why oftentimes you guys are hearing me say when people are giving me X news and stuff like that about shit that's happening, I'm like, dude, I don't want that, because a lot of the times it's actually incorrect.
Don't know who did this yet, while Jesse Waters is saying, quote, they are at war with us. And again, I entirely condemn this. And if you want to make the argument that there's a high likelihood the person who did this...
Wait. Shooting from 200 yards away is novice? You gotta be kidding me. Dude, I'm not even gonna sit up here and wonder whether or not I can make that shot. I'm handguns only.
Disagreed with Charlie Kirk from a more left-leaning or far-left lens, then we can wait for the investigation. I wouldn't disagree that it's likely, but it's definitely not time to be going live on Fox in front of millions of Americans and using the most incendiary rhetoric possible. Jesse Waters is double my age, yet the video that I made in response called for a better, more unified America. I'm going to play the clip in just 1 second, but I want to be clear. This is clear incitement. Jesse Waters tries to draw a narrative of a bunch of tragedies that aren't linked in any way. He cites the shooting. It's
going to be the transgender thing, isn't it? I'm just going to lose my fucking mind with people. I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
Of Donald Trump's ear, which was done by a Republican kid. He cites the shooting of 2 Jewish people outside of an embassy, which was done by a far-left, insane, radical lunatic.
Yeah, and that's why I do feel like people get upset with me for doing this, but that is why I say, like, those 2 Jewish people being shot outside of the embassy, it was not okay. I mean, people being shot for political beliefs just isn't okay anyways, but it doesn't matter where people exist on the political spectrum. Like those 2 Jewish young people that were outside the embassy, like, that's a fucking tragedy, man. It's a fucking tragedy.
Like, who nobody would defend. No liberal will ever defend this. But let's just listen to this clip of Jesse Waters and keep in mind, this is rhetoric.
I was thinking that too, DJ. I was like, of all people, Jesse Waters. Okay, Sean says 200 yards is nothing. Okay, I don't know anything about sniping, just in case this video is ever used in the court of law.
Designed to prime people for more violence. So we need to back off this type of rhetoric, Jesse Waters.
Said this hits differently because Charlie was one of us. And Trump gets hit in the ear. Charlie gets shot dead. They came after Kavanaugh with a rifle to...
But once again, and it's not like Adam Mockler said, these people are not people on the left doing this. But you also need to honestly speak about your role in this. And your role in this is that you've incited hatred in this country. You have incited anger and fear in this country. And if your whole rhetoric is based around getting people so worked up that they fear that if you're not in charge, that they're going to lose everything, and the immigrants are going to steal their shit, and the trans are going to groom their children, and black people are going to murder them on subways. Like, if that's everything that you put forth into this country, then what you are going to inevitably get back from it is those things. I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying this because it's important. I have never wanted anybody that watches this show to ever leave here as an angry, hateful person. I want people to understand that life is worth living, that we can get through this, that you should never let people take your joy. Last week, I said, I'm going to watch my Eagles beat the shit out of the Cowboys, and I was fucking right about that. I am so happy about it, and I'm not going to let people take that happiness away from me. I'm not going to let people on the left take that happiness away from me, and I'm not going to let people on the right take that happiness away from me. I'm just not going to let people take happiness from me. But when you convince people there's nothing left to be happy for, inevitably you're going to have this type of outcome.
His neighborhood. They went after Musk's cars. They just shot 2 Jews outside the embassy. Think about it. Scalise got shot, barely survived. It's happening. You got trans shooters. You got...
God damn it, he said it. God damn it. I am fucking done. It's like, more than anything, the thing that makes me just like fucking done is the stupidity of this country. There's nothing that gets to me more than dumb. This world doesn't think enough. Not enough just times of quiet with your own thoughts. It's just, fuck, it's exhausting.
Riots in LA. They are at war with us.
Saw that, Cheyenne.
Whether we want to accept it or not, they are at war with us. And what are we going to do about it? How much political violence are we going to tolerate? And that's the question we're just going to have to ask.
The question is how much are you going to create? Like I said, where were all these people? Why did Jesse Waters not mention Gabby Gifford getting shot in the face? Why did he not mention the 2 Minnesota people, politicians that were killed in front of their daughter? Why did, like, if you want to say, if you sat up here and said, look, those 2 Minnesota politicians dying, horrific. Charlie Kirk being shot, terrible. Gabby Gifford, a victim of gun violence. Steve Scalise, a victim of gun violence. If you were to sit up here and make that argument, I'd actually say to you, yeah, that's true. This has gone too far. We need to be better. But even in this rhetoric, what we're doing is literally just saying we have no part in this. I'm not going to sit here and say to you that at no point has the left ever, made a situation worse by speaking poorly or doing something like a certain person within the left that, like, I can't appreciate their opinions, but maybe they fell into this grift as well to rile people up to certain things. I'm not going to say that there is nobody on the left that exists that is grifting. That is obviously not true. There are definitely people on the left as well. What I'm saying is that, like, are we actually trying to talk about a solution? Because if we are, then it needs to be something that goes along the lines of saying that mental health in this country is declining at least a steady rate, if not a rapid rate at this point, and that when people in the Democratic Party put forth legislation to do something about that problem, people in the Republican Party consistently vote against it. Like, are we just going to keep having this conversation until everybody's dead? Or are we going to do something about it? Are we going to find common cause in the fact that people on both sides of the aisle have been victims of violence? And like I said, regardless of who the perpetrator was. Like, I'm not going to get into, like, whether or not, the right does it more than the left, or the left more than the right, or white people more than trans people, or trans people more than white people, or whatever. Like, we know the statistics, but this is a place where I do think, as a person who hangs out on the left, that it is important for me to be the bigger person and say, I'm not going to get into those statistics. Let's just talk about the reality of the situation. And that is, people that are unhealthy are capable of getting a hold of weapons. And those people, regardless of gender or trans or fucking black or white or whatever it is, are committing violence on other people. And I think that we have to start that conversation somewhere. But if we're not, then it's just going to get worse.
Ourselves. Now, Charlie would want us to put as much pressure on these people as possible. Dana nailed it. This is unacceptable and has to stop.
Wait. I just want to pause it. The chyron at the bottom says, Charlie Kirk assassin still on the loose. At this very moment, we do not know who did this. We don't know their ideology. You could make assumptions in your head, but in what reality is it okay to go on air in front of millions of Americans and use rhetoric about they're at war?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with talking about this in a consistent and logical manner, but these people are full of shit. You just have to call a spade a spade. This dude is full of shit. He incites violence. Charlie Kirk incited violence. The hateful, angry rhetoric that surrounds these type of people inevitably is going to end in violence. And like I said, a lot of times it's by their own people, and I'm willing to have that conversation minus those statistics, but you can't have a conversation with a person that is this disinterested in talking about things as they really are.
With us. It is very clear incitement. I have not seen a single politician on the Democratic side say this is okay. Everybody has unequivocally condemned it, and everybody should.
Exactly.
So we can tone down the rhetoric, because again, when somebody who disagrees with you is murdered like this.
Does the left have a Charlie Kirk? I don't think so. But once again, I'm not like, for as much as I watch these videos with you guys and stuff, I'm not habitually online, and I'm not like constantly. I'm actually, like, I've had discussions with content creators online and stuff, and I think they're always surprised by how little I know about this content creation atmosphere, because to be honest, I don't find it to be healthy to engage in a lot of the stuff that I see online. So I kind of stay out of it, but maybe you guys know, I don't know if there's a guy on the left that is of Charlie Kirk's prominence.
That could lead to somebody who agrees with you getting murdered like this.
That's not Luke,
It is
dude.
a catalyst for violence that then becomes a chain
That's
reaction.
Adam Mockler.
But let's
How
finish this
dare
clip
you.
right here, and we'll talk about it further.
And it has to stop now. And everybody's accountable. And we're watching what they're saying on television and who's saying what. The politicians, the media.
What is Jesse Waters gonna do?
And all of these rats out there. This can never happen again. It ends now. Greg's right again. This is a turning point, and we know which direction we're.
Yeah, it is very clear the direction you want to go down, Jesse Waters.
Wait, did he just mention the name of the movie? He said, "This is the turning point." Sorry, I said I wasn't gonna make any jokes. I can't help myself.
Divisive rhetoric, and immediately hopping on air in front of millions and using political messaging that makes politics sound like it's warfare. I mean, the Chiron says Charlie Kirk assassin still on the loose, yet Jesse Waters tries to create this very specific narrative with all of these terrible examples. He talks about the attempted assassination of Trump. This was a Republican kid who everyone condemns. He then talks about the shooting of 2 people outside of an embassy. This was an anarchist that everybody condemns. You should never just kill people based on who they are.
Yeah, and this is 100% what drives me nuts about this is even I'm up here trying to be really good about this, and I feel like I shouldn't be, right? Because we all know what the outcome of this is. We all know what the outcome of this is. It doesn't matter how much the left says it's bad. It doesn't matter how much the left calls out how bad this is or that it shouldn't happen. They'll still be the bad guy, and still, when left-wing people are harmed in violence by right-wing people, you'll never hear them apologize for those actions. They'll do nothing but make memes. They'll make jokes. They'll say the left is too thin-skinned. Like, this is why this situation really has become untenable as it is because the left oftentimes tries to apologize and etiquette their way out of situations, and the right wants to bully. And it's just at this point, it seems inevitable that this country is going to face another civil war. You know, whether it's with actual military means or if it's just through politics, or it's a breakup of the country. You know, all these Republicans that'll be like, yeah, the blue states can go do whatever they want. It's going to be like, yeah, well, good luck with that shit. That's going to suck for you guys. But you know, like I said, I want to sit up here and I want to make a logical argument. I want to talk about this, but at the same time, I also feel like I can't help but sit here and say that the right will never do this. Especially MAGA Republicans will never, ever say anything. Like, if Joe Biden got shot, there would be memes, there would be jokes. Donald Trump wouldn't even mention it. Like, it's an untenable situation. Thank you for the $5. Philip, thank you. At this point, everyone who's talked about violence have been the ones suffering from it. Yeah.
And he leaves out, over the past few months, 2 Democratic lawmakers being assassinated back to back inside their homes in Minnesota. This happened, yet Jesse Waters precluded that. I don't want to do this tit-for-tat game on violence because it's not productive. We need to cool everything off. But if we played this tit-for-tat game, Jesse Waters would be quite embarrassed. But again, politics should not be treated like some sort of warfare. Here's my worry. Okay, I'm 22 years old, and we are currently seeing the social fabric of America weakening in real time.
Yeah, good call.
I someday want to work towards a future that has less political violence, less division, and working democratic systems where billionaires aren't influencing it. So let's talk about some real responsible policy steps that we can use to fix this. But first of all, Wahat said, glad to see this response from the Democrats. This is appropriate and decent. And I want to remind everyone that Trump mocked Paul Pelosi, who was nearly killed by...
And so did Charlie Kirk, by the way. Charlie Kirk spread disinformation about Paul Pelosi being homosexual. He spread disinformation saying that Jews were behind it. In fact, just so you guys know, when I got online to bring up all this stuff, there was literally right-wing people blaming Jewish people for killing Charlie Kirk. Blaming, obviously, LGBT people. That we all knew that was going to happen immediately. But blaming Jewish people for killing Charlie Kirk. It's like you can't even wait 5 minutes to start spewing hate. You have to. And when those two Minnesota politicians were literally gunned down in front of their daughter, not a single one of these people said anything in condolence to these people. No one on the right gave two shits about those people in Minnesota dying. Donald Trump didn't show up to their funeral. There was no flags at half-mast. So I'm trying to be the responsible person up here, as Adam is trying to be the responsible person up here, and coach people on the left to be good people. But also don't think that I don't know. Don't think that I ain't aware of the bullshit. Like, I'm 100% aware of the bullshit. I'm just a little bit different in the way that I'm going to say, okay, all right, well, when it comes that time, it comes that time. And then you're going to find out. I didn't grow up like a lot of people did.
A deranged conspiracy theorist mocked him publicly at the RNC. So while every Democratic politician is using normal, non-divisive rhetoric, we have Elon Musk and Laura Loomer and everyone saying insane stuff. So here's what we need to do. First of all, we need to fix the online ecosystem. We don't need to limit speech, but social media platforms are now engineered to promote the most inflammatory content because it keeps people clicking. That's why Elon Musk gets 22 million views when he says the left is the party of murder. And that's why Gavin Newsom gets more views when he posts things in all caps. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying the type of attention that the algorithm promotes is the type that Trump and Republicans thrive off of. It's why all caps posts get more views. So we need to make sure violent rhetoric is not rewarded and amplified, but rather we have transparency in the algorithms through legislation, limit calls to violence online, and make sure that, at the very minimum, there are responsible media standards. Networks should be held accountable. I don't know why people like Jesse Waters are allowed to go on air and say that we are now at war. We're not. The president of the United States himself was saying that Chicago is about to be at war. Another thing we can talk about, and this one is rather obvious, but just common sense gun safety. I do want to point out we don't know the identity of the shooter yet, but there are so many scenarios in which common sense gun safety laws could have prevented political rhetoric from just spilling out into real world violence. We also just need more moral leadership. This shouldn't have to be said, but when we have leaders on predominantly one side using insanely inflammatory rhetoric, then it leads to more tension in the country. And there's no denying that, when Donald Trump rose to power in 2012, politics-wise, it was because he said Obama wasn't born in America. That's new. Obama had never had some conspiracy at that level. Obama never spread anything at that level. It was Republicans that started spreading these conspiracy theories. But again, the blame game is useless when our country or the social fabric of our country seems to be weakening. At the Mockler Media channel, we'll continue to spread the truth on a day-by-day basis, and we need you guys. So yes, I condemn this shooting. We need clear messaging right now. I'm getting all these emails of people making jokes and saying insane things. I mean, I just don't think it's a time. I think this is a time to be very
Yeah, we need 2 to 3 days.
careful with rhetoric. And Jesse Waters proves that. If somebody that you don't like can get hurt speaking politics out in public, that can lead to somebody you do like getting hurt. Think about all of your favorite politicians or all of your favorite news anchors or people on YouTube. People can get hurt. That's why we need to tone things down.
Yeah. Go subscribe to Adam. He's a good kid. I just want to say this because of what he just said. When I'm up here and I'm saying these things, saying I have to make an attempt to deal with this logically, it's because I want a logical society. I want a sane society. In no way do I think that this wasn't something reaped and sowed. You know, like this is what you get from hateful, angry, vitriol rhetoric. It is the right's bread and butter. They choose to go this route. And then when somebody that is obviously not mentally healthy chooses to do something violent, they play the victim. And that's all within the game. Sadly to say, Donald Trump will 100% use this to increase the victimization problem that there already exists inside the right. Like the brown people are doing it to you, the LGBT people are doing it to you, and now they're killing your favorite influencer. So when I'm saying I want to make a logical argument, it's because really it's an appeal to the hope that maybe there's somebody out there on the right that isn't fucking nuts that would be willing to say, hey man, yeah, maybe it's time to fucking calm this shit down. But I'm not hopeful. I don't think that it's going to happen. And I think that unfortunately, instead of that happening, unfortunately, things are just going to get worse. And we're going to be forced to do things that really you never should have had to. And that's sad. Thank you for the $10. A lot of Americans think they're proficient in the use of the weapons with paper targets without thinking about how many vets are living in this country whose lives depend on their aim. 100%. I say it all the time. So many people in this country think, you know, oh, like you have all the people that prep and stuff like that. Oh, well, if this thing happened, I would be so prepared and I would, you know, if a civil war happens, like, oh, you know, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. Like, you don't know what it's like to live real life, man. There's a really poignant scene in Leave the World Behind, and it's at the, well, I'm going to spoil this. It's at the very end of the movie, so if you haven't seen it, you don't like it, see you guys tomorrow. But the young girl walks into a house that's been abandoned after everything has been taken over and people are all dead and stuff. And she walks into a house that's been abandoned, and it has a bunker, and it's filled with food and entertainment. It's like a really rich person's bunker, and it's completely unspoiled. And that is because you might think that you're going to be prepared for when disaster it happens, that you'll be ready for it. But the reality is all it takes is you being at the store and unable to get back to your house for you not to be able to take advantage of your preparation. All it takes is, you know, one thing going wrong, you getting a cut that's too deep that gets infected and you don't have antibiotics, you know, like if you're diabetic, just not having your insulin. Like, people really don't know what it takes to survive. I grew up extremely poor. I grew up eating out of trash cans. I lived under a bridge for a little bit. I lived in cars by the river. You know, I dealt with physical, mental, every type of abuse that you can imagine. I've been, you know, a part of and around gun violence. You don't know what it takes to live real life until you're forced into that situation. And when I was a kid, I didn't know how bad it was because I didn't ever really understand that there was something different. But now that I've grown up and I've worked my way into the situation that I have worked my way into, I can tell you that none of you should want to be there. It's not really great once you recognize the alternative. So, you know, I know these people think that they're all worked up. I know that Jesse Waters thinks he's a hard ass now. Jesse Waters would not survive 5 minutes in the places I grew up. Yeah, I can't. So unless it's like literally like a minute. I gotta go. I'm tired. I'll take a look at it. Where is it? Is it in Discord or something? Oh, here we go. So you posted it. Fuck, now I'm opening Discord and it's updating. Can I copy this link? Copy link. Okay. Hold on. Are you sure you want to leave YouTube? I wouldn't know I was on YouTube. What are you saying here? You said the Instagram reel? Okay. Okay. I'm going to try. I'm an old man. Okay, there we go. Okay, hold on. Hold on. All right, this is from Silent. Let's see if I can play this. All right, here we go.
I want you to get a better picture.
Sir, you're blocking the roadway.
Get a better picture.
I'm taking a video. I don't need a picture.
Nerds, you know that?
Okay. At least I don't support a Nazi or a fascist. It's time for you to leave.
That's Biden. I'm a Trump guy.
Honey, he's on the Epstein files all over him.
I do. I support her.
Get his license.
Why didn't you the last 4 years?
You served for 23 years for this country? Did you?
No. Did you?
Yes.
Did you go be supporting Biden?
No.
Hey, you ladies be careful. Have a good day.
Babe, you're making yourself look bad. Just keep going. JK Concrete, they support pedophiles. They support fascists.
We support Trump.
That's great. Stop blocking the road.
Shut up, bitch. Shut up.
Baby, I'm not the one blocking the road. That's you.
That's support Peter somewhere else, but it ain't here.
Let me tell you something.
Tell me you're a pedo. Tell me you're a pedo.
You're a
fucking pedo.
If anybody, if a man would have called me a pedo, I'm gonna fuck his ass
You're a
up.
motherfucking pedophile.
You're a
bitch.
motherfucking bitch.
So? Pedophile?
Have the day you deserve.
Have the day you deserve.
Connor Diddler! Fuck you, Connor bitch! Fuck you! Connor Diddler! Keep going! Now we know who you are! We know who you are!
Yikes. Yep. I mean, what can I say? That's how we got here. Whether or not people want to believe it or not on the right, that's how you get here. That's how Charlie Kirk gets shot. All right, guys. Thank you. I got to come back and do this again tomorrow. I think I can do it. I just need 24 hours. That's how that shit happens. All right, guys. Thanks, guys, for being here. I will be back on this channel tomorrow. I'll try to stream it. I know we had some problems last week with some connectivity and stuff, so hopefully those are fixed. But I will stream tomorrow, 5 o'clock Pacific. Probably not going to be talking about Charlie Kirk. I'm going to try and do the show that I had planned for this show, because there's more important shit to talk about right now. So I'm going to talk about that shit. Just like I said at the beginning of the show, I have empathy for Charlie Kirk's children, but I'm going to treat this just like Charlie Kirk would treat this. And I'm going to move on. And I'm going to start talking about the things that I think matter. All right, guys. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have